looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits in the middle, gets past both drivers. Here we go. All right, another week, another great part of racing. Welcome everybody to round 4 here of FRL Season 4. And we're going to be in Netherlands this week. Hope everybody's having a good day. We've got some great racing planned for you. Should be some exciting things. But I've got, of course, my great friend with me here. SENTEX, how are you doing today?
Hello everyone, I'm fine and thank you for such a, I think, beautiful welcome as every single time in every Sunday. Isn't that beautiful that we can meet in such a beautiful occasion just to show how our drivers will drive on another very hard track that we have today, and which is
Netherlands here.
right now.
Yeah, it's Netherlands, and not a lot of drivers excited for Netherlands. I'm personally excited for Netherlands, but I'm more excited because we're bringing in a third person here for FRL. Good friend AD Gamer unfortunately had to drop out of racing, but I thought he was a great spectator and great in the league. Didn't want to lose him from the league, so we made an arrangement. There might be a contract involved. There might have been a little bit of begging on my end. But AD Gamer, welcome to the FRL commentary team. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing more than fine. I'm more than happy to be here. I didn't know there was a contract, but we have to talk about it. More than happy to be here on this Sunday to witness some great racing, I think.
We'll talk about the contract after the stream. Don't worry about it.
Thanks.
So looking here, we're getting ready to kick off with Split 2 race. Split 2 is going to be the first race here, and then we'll flow into Split 1. Of course, SENTEX, you race in Split 1, so me and AD Gamer will handle Split 1 while you go and race and do your thing. Looking at Split 2 here this week, John Meister, holding Drivers' Championship right now for Williams, has a podium under his place in Belgium, and then in Imola he was P3. Are we predicting another strong race from John Meister here this week?
I think if he's in a good shape, he really can fight for another podium. But we also don't need to forget about other big names in Split 2, which is, for example, Spaghetti Mafia, that currently he's trying to catch really hard with his teammate Fishu those podium as a constructors. And I think they are in third place right now, isn't it?
Which team is it?
McLaren.
McLaren is actually down P5 in constructors for Split 2. I think it's really interesting, though. Haas has 3 podiums under their belt, but they're leading constructors. AD Gamer, you were a Haas driver. Are you excited to see Haas up in P1 here in Split 2?
More than happy. I don't know why. I just have this passion for Haas. We've been with them one season. I'm more than happy to see Haas up there.
Absolutely. I think looking through Wasserschwein, Spaghetti Mafia, always a fan favorite. But Spaghetti Mafia with 2 DNFs and then a second place. I'm interested to see where he goes up here this race because it's been it's been interesting to see how Split 2 has gone. Split 2's been a lot more competitive than I think anyone's thought, but I think
Yeah.
with Split 2, one of the things that we're going to see here is going to be just the question of consistency, especially Netherlands, a track that your race can be ruined in one corner. I think the consistency might be where we play out, and I think that's where Haas is going to show very, very competitive here, as they've always shown consistency so far here in Split 2. Alpine not having a good season, or Alfa Romeo though, and those are teams that I think we expected a lot out of. So do we predict an underdog finish here this week, or do you all think it's going to end up with just the typical who we expect to win winning?
It's hard to predict because after every single race, we already know that our predictions isn't correct at all, and I think it's showing us that Split 2 is also such an unpredictable split because after race to race, another driver have a big opportunity and chance to win this race. So I'm glad and I'm so happy that we can experience that, to be honest.
Absolutely. So qualifying is underway here. If you're new to FRL, it is one 18-minute qualifying session. We don't run the full 3 rounds, one 18-minute and then a 50% race here. With Split 2, any assist the drivers want to run are allowed. We don't run restrictions on that. We do run safety cars on as well. Split 2, we are missing a few drivers this week. I'm not for sure. Did you all see? Was it just drivers didn't check in, or was it just because we had some driver moves in Split 1, which we'll discuss here later?
Yeah, but for now, we can see that there's a few drivers already on the track that decided to go with medium compound. And about the strategy, I think it's a very good idea to start on the medium compound and then change for the soft compound, because strategy for this track is more like soft to hards or medium to hards. But there's a possibility that you can go with soft to mediums and mediums to soft, but it will um, it will be very hard to stay with those compounds and stick with them on the track, because the usage of them could be going really fast if you will hit a curb and you will spin, and it could cost you a lot of time.
Absolutely. We're on board here with Keppa as he's the first driver out on a flying lap, looking really strong so far, coming through middle sector. I'm interested to see what he sets his time going through middle sector. I believe JJ told me that qualifying pole is going to be around a 110. Does that sound right to you all, or is that something that we're expecting to be a little higher, a little lower, as Keppa sets 50 seconds coming through second sector?
I think it's possible, but I'm not sure that it will be like 1 minute 10 and 4, or it will be goes like 1 minute 10 and 9. It's hard to predict, even though I think it will be more like in the split 1 minute and 10 and 2, maybe something like this, because now we can see Radosław Kepa just said 1 minute 11 and 8. So it of course it's possible to beat that time and improve a lot, but I think it's more like just to try how the car will present on the track and how wheels will go on.
Absolutely. Kushor comes through. He sets a 112.5. So around half or 7/10 of a second off the pace. Velix coming in on a 111.8, but John Meister with a 111.2, and Buchek coming in with a 111.7. So it looks like around that 111 so far is going to be the first time to be looking around. Lots of drivers already out on push laps. Going through Spaghetti Mafia into P8 with a 113.9. Early running here, it looks like drivers are looking to just set early laps and then go through from here. So far, we've got really competitive times coming in. Split 2, as I said in the intro, always competitive, always tight together. So it's really fun to watch Split 2 come through, and I anticipate these times are going to continue to drop as we go through qualifying here.
Definitely, but as I told before, the medium compound can be crucial in this strategy on this track. So we can see the drivers will also, I think, definitely improve their times, especially Spaghetti Mafia 1 minute 30 and 9. It's this time that you can easily beat even on the medium compound. But as I said before, this track can be difficult no matter what tires you have set on your car.
Absolutely. The big thing I've heard with drivers is just the curbs are really brutal. 80 Gamer, as a driver, since you're not driving anymore, you can probably talk about this a bit more. Dangerous curbs, is that just something you have to watch out for here? Is it kind of just a theme with F1 dangerous curbs? Or is this track just worse than others because of how many curves there are?
Yeah, the curves on these cameras are absolutely ridiculous. They're incredibly dangerous, and in this track, I think it's even worse because of the high curves there actually in the fast right-hander in the second sector. Also, the second to last corners, they're a big curve that's very dangerous as well. We have to keep the car on track and just trying to push. I see Spaghetti Mafia did a 11.4 in mediums. I think it's going to be a contender for pole position.
Absolutely. Looking through here, it looks like just drivers for now are really looking to push laps. Guys, tell me about qualifying strategy. I know I talked with Frederick about qualifying strategy when he commentated with me. What was that, Imola? And
Yeah.
I talked with him as far as qualifying strategy for you all, as a former Split One and a current Split One driver. What do you all look at whenever you go to do your qualifying strategy and kind of plan out how you want to qualify?
Eddie Gamer, do you want to start?
Sure. I approach quality like in a very cautious place, like starting off really cautious, like first run, be cautious as try not to push as well, not to crash and not to spin. Just put a not so fast banker time and just try to push from there. Like if I see the tires on a in good position, I'll try to do one more lap. It isn't good because you have to start tires on your fast tires that you use on your fastest lap. So you have to be careful if you want to push too much or just save the tires for the race. It's like a balancing you both the equations, and it's pretty interesting because you want to push, but not to push 100%, not to crash.
Syntax, do
Now,
you feel the same way, or?
yeah. I have a special strategy that I'm always wanted to leave one clean set of tires just for the race, just in case like there will be such an unpredictable situation, and I'm deciding to okay, I have a fresh new compound, so I can push on, for example, fresh set of softs, and then I'm changing it. But as I said before, on Zandvoort, you don't really need like two or three pairs of fresh compounds, and for example I will go in Zandvoort, I will try to go with softs to mediums, and I have like I know that I can be calm because I can use in qualifying session three pair of softs, and I don't need to care about them because I know that I won't be changing for softs again. So I know that I can use all of them. It depends, to be honest, for the track which we're driving, for example, and then I know where is like such a long track, as for example in the Monaco. I think it will. I will go with like soft, medium softs, and then I know that I really need those second pair of the softs. But for example, in the Zandvoort, I think all of them could be used in the qualifying session.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see where pit strategy plays in for people, and typically we see most drivers qualifying on softs. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So I think it's interesting to see, especially like John Meister as Fishu outbreaks himself there in the second sector and hits the barrier. That's his qualifying session. Not over, just that lap is over. But I think back to what I was saying here, John Meister with a 111.2 on out on mediums right now. I'm not sure if softs will be the way to go for this race. I know looking at pit strategy, two stop isn't ideal, but safety cars always change everything, so I don't know if it really makes a difference what's ideal and what's not. Kind of looking through.
Just wanted to
So,
say Fabian is stopped on track, and I think it's a problem if you think if he's sticking to let traffic by, but I think it's stopped on track.
let's see here if we can see what he's doing. It looks like
There's
he's back
maintenance.
going there. Maybe just trying to build himself a bit more of a gap there for his first run. I hope it's not a technical issue.
He was stopped for quite a while, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's what's confusing me is he's still going really slow.
It doesn't look like he don't have any uh, problem with fuel. He have a full tank, so
Mhm.
I don't understand what's going on, to be honest.
I wonder
It
if
looks
he's. I don't know. That's interesting. We'll see because he's out on an outlap right now. So I wonder if this is where he's going to start a flyer as Wasserschwein comes across on a 117, a few seconds down from his top time of 111. So it looks like drivers might be struggling to find some time here. And it looks like Fabian is not starting a flyer. Is he doing a double warm up lap here? Any idea, anyone?
It could be because even though if you have like the lowest amount of fuel, it goes even for the 5 laps in one set of tires. So maybe this is his strategy. I don't really know, but I know for sure that John Meister currently on the third place with amazing time on the medium compound, 1 minute 11 seconds and 2 sets him on the third position. So basically for him, this strategy will be unbelievably good to compare with the Radosław Kepa and Spaghetti Mafia.
Absolutely. Spaghetti Mafia with a 110.8. Really impressive time from him, and he's back in the pits here as we have about 6 minutes here in qualifying, I believe. I'm really interested, though, to see Vixie here, who I've got on screen, and see what type of a time Vixie puts in here in the Aston Martin as he comes through. Second sector up by 500ths of a second currently. Currently not purple in the middle sector, but setting a personal best. So as he comes around these final few corners, I think he is going to improve by a competitive time as long as he can hold these final sectors together. Kepa puts in a 110.8. Let's see where Vixie lands here coming around, and he puts in a 111.5, improves himself to P6, 3/10 up, but still not up there with Kepa, Spaghetti Mafia. Even Wasserschwein still a few tenths of a second down there from the top two.
Yeah, it's important that we also forget about the Aston Martin drivers because their pace also is quite good and they can compete for the podium. And this is what I said before. Even though in Split 2 it's so unpredictable, and I think it's the best thing that we can meet and see. For example, in this because from race to race, I will say that again, we don't know who can possibly win another race.
Absolutely. One thing that I didn't mention at the start that I do want to mention now, we can see Topove isn't on the track there. Topove, of course, having to serve two quali bans due to penalties he picked up, I believe, in round two. Yeah, it was in round two in Belgium. So he picked up two quali bans from one race because he raced in both splits and earned a quali ban in each. So he'll be starting back at the rear of the field of 17 cars here. Tupave, a really good driver who seems to just be having a couple of mistakes here and there that have just cost him big time. I think this will be a good track for him. I'm interested to see just kind of how the first couple laps shape up, but I really have strong faith that the Red Bull driver there will be able to move up and be competitive this week.
Absolutely, but we also need to mention that Crash and John Meister also are fighting very hard for the highest place, and we can see John Meister decided to change from the medium compound to soft compound, and if he will beat those times, he is possibly to get for the pole position. Even though if he wouldn't, his fourth place on medium for him with the strategy will be very good, isn't it, AD Gamer?
I think the strategy is going to play a big part in this race because I was talking to some drivers. They say the softs overheat too much in this track. There's going to be a big problem in the softs. The softs don't last that many laps. And John Meister starting on the medium is going to be a longer stint than most, and it's going to be interesting. The, the strategy battle between the teams.
Absolutely. Looking at John Meister now, he is, I believe, on a push lap at the moment coming around. So we'll keep an eye on him as he goes through. Early race safety car could wipe all pit strategy and qualifying strategy out the window. Looking at safety cars, how many safety cars are we thinking for this race, guys?
I'm guessing 3 minimum.
I can't say the exact number, but it's going to play a big part of the safety car. It's a
Absolutely.
dangerous track, and going side by side could lead into worse things.
Absolutely. I think 3 is a good prediction. I'm thinking 2. We're gonna have a couple of DNFs for sure. Unfortunately, because it's FRL, things always get crazy. Bad luck plays in. Weather. Does anyone know what the weather's gonna be here? I didn't get to see what the weather is for the race.
Any info? Maybe someone on
Any
chat will
either.
give. Maybe someone on chat will give an info, but we can see that John Meister is pushing so hard, but for now, Spaghetti Mafia have Sector 1 record, and he's pushing also so hard. He definitely wants to fight with Radosław Kepa. He's just finishing his hot lap, and we will see that he is going to beat Radosław or not really.
Let's see here. Spaghetti Mafia is coming across. Only about a minute left here in qualifying. Spaghetti with a 1:10.69, which is going to put him up here on provisional pole. But Kepa is on a push lap here, coming through first sector, and he sets a personal best in the first sector, coming around here, second sector, right hand corner. He's coming around, and he is pushing really hard. It looks like as there's only about a minute left now officially. So drivers on outlaps are going to have to cross the line soon. I'm not sure who that was. He just passed it spun as he comes through the middle sector here. But it looks like in terms of qualifying, Spaghetti Mafia and Kepa are going to be the big 2 to compete. But John Meister, I wouldn't count him out at all. But it looks like he's done a push lap. So it might spell the end for John Meister's potential at pole.
It was John Meister that spun on the third sector.
Okay, so that is John Meister's qualifying over. Coming around here, Kepa is going to push to the line, and he is down a couple seconds, so not able to improve unless he's doing a double push. That might be his game over. Wasserschwein in the middle sector on a push as well. Looks like he's setting some PBs himself coming around, and as he starts into the third sector, let's see where he lands. Time is a 10th up there with a 49.4. Coming around. And qualifying is now over. Checkered flag falls. So it looks like some drivers locked in here. But Wasserschwein coming around the final corner. Gets a little wide there onto the curb. But still looking really strong. And he's going to come across.
That is still counting.
Absolutely. Wasserschwein wasn't able to improve. So it looks like at the moment Spaghetti Mafia has provisional pole locked. But still a couple drivers out on final laps. So we'll keep our eyes out and see if anyone can improve on Spaghetti Mafia's time, but it doesn't look like it. As Fishy comes across and locks himself into P6, Kushor comes across on another flyer and sets himself onto P8. Let's see here. Vixie coming through into the third sector.
Yeah.
John Meister still pushing. Looks like he hit the wall a little bit there, potentially. Comes across the line, 1:11.1, does not improve. Vixie doesn't have a front wing, so he can't finish anything. It looks like last driver to come through is going to be Fabian, and Fabian gets himself up to P13, improves by 1 position. So it looks like at this point, this is your qualifying grid locked in here. Spaghetti Mafia throwing himself up into pole position. Absolutely great time from him with a 1:10.6, 2/10 up there on Kepa's time.
Also, I don't want to say that we're going to go with trouble, but Vike already have left the session, and I'm not sure that our actually lobby is closed for the invites only. We need to remember that because it's very important that nobody will join and destroy our league race.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that everything's set up right, but no way to know from here. Looking through, looks like a minute left in qualifying. It still shows cars out on track for me. Does it show the same thing for you all at the moment?
Only Young is
Are
just need to
still on
go
track.
fully in the box, and that will be all.
Okay, because I'm still showing like Senor on push laps and stuff, so it looks like maybe a slight issue of desync for me, but it looks like that sorted itself out. Um, I'm not sure on that one. Sometimes it happens. Let's see here. So going through Spaghetti Mafia and then Keppa in P2, John Meister P3, all drivers out on softs. So in terms of strategy, even though none of the drivers wanted to start on softs, it looks like everybody's going to be starting on softs except for the two drivers who didn't qualify.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see a very, very unique strategy from every single driver that starts from the softs, and I'm pretty sure that they will try to go with softs to mediums. But as you said before, safety car can change almost anything in the race.
Absolutely. We're going to kick over for just a second, take a quick breather, and then we'll jump back with you all on the formation lap.
Like that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here with the formation lap. So, we were talking about weather. It looks like rain predicted to come through about 45 minutes into the race. So, rain near the end of the race.
T1. I think it was Williams spun in T1. So I don't
Ah,
know if they are going to retire from permission lap or I think they kept going.
looks like Spaghetti Mafia got super loose too there. Formation lap, a really important time to get your tires going, get everything ready, and it looks like the drivers are just kind of flying through this formation lap here, faster than I thought they would go.
I think when you're going like for the normal lap, even though you can easily heat up your tires and it will be fine when you will start. Is, is that right, AD Gamer? I think so, yeah?
Sorry? Say it again.
And all about the strategy, as I said before, softs to hards about the 12th lap or softs, soft, medium, softs. It depends from the drivers. Also, it could be from mediums to hards. Um, I think the softs to mediums will be definitely the fastest strategy just to finish the race, but it will be also, I think, the riskiest because, as you said before, AD Gamer, the tires are quickly heating up and getting about the usage, it could be also very dangerous and it could happen to everyone just for the spin when they hit the curb.
I think the most interesting point of this start is going to be turn one. Senor, Fabian, Gamer, Tipove, and Godfather all on medium tires. Rest of the drivers opting for softs. So as we form up the grid here for this starting lap, I'm not sure what's about to happen, but I know it's going to be exciting, as all starts are here with FRL. 5 red lights, and we are going to be underway here for round 4, and it looks like in terms of the takeoff here, Spaghetti Mafia gets away really well and leaves a big gap on the field here as John Meister up in P3. He's going to try to go around the outside of the first corner. We already have a spin. It looks like that is going to be Fishu back in the back, who is spun around, but coming around the first couple of corners here, it looks like all the drivers are kind of laying themselves out into a straight line. Fishu losing out big time, coming around the hard left-hander. You can see Wasserschwein's up into P4, Buchik down in P5, Spaghetti Mafia trying to run away quick, and Kepa staying on him. John Meister trying to push a little bit of a gap here against the backfield, but back in the midfield is where some of the strong running is, the strong battles. You can see Crash, Kushor, Buchik all battling it out here, but it looks like most of us got away with turn 1 except for Fishu.
Yeah, I think he was just hit by someone, and that's why he just spun. It was almost impossible to spin it in the T1 because it's a very slow corner, so there's definitely no chance to spin, and I think there will be something after the race. But we need to focus right now on the currently race. We can see that Fabian is trying to push, and he already overtook Vixie. But as you said before, Bradley, there is such a big fight in the middle of the grid because as we said before, Kushor, Crash, Buchek, Wasserschwein, for now it's just like a big DRS train.
Absolutely. This big battle here with Fabian, Kushor, or is it Fabian, Velix, and Vixie is great. Saw a great move there from Fabian going outside and then inside to get himself up 2 positions, but it looks like Velix gotten right back around him. Vixie's right on his tail though, and it looks like everything is very competitive so far. Spaghetti Mafia, though, running away here early days, holding on to his P1.
Exactly, and now we can see that those gaps are of course growing and going down, but definitely the most important thing for us just for now is who will get on the P1 and P3. Of course the gap would need to stay as low as possible just to stay in the DRS train that will be enabled after finishing this lap, and we'll check that Radosław Kepa will try to attack in the first possibly chance in the next lap just to take the first place from Spaghetti Mafia.
Absolutely. AWS pit stop strategy. It showed it twice now. It showed a couple things. It said soft to hards or soft medium, and then it said medium hards medium or soft medium. I think it's all going to depend on just what the drivers do. If we see safety cars, how things are going. But it looks like so far things are really clean. Early days here, lap 3 of 36, and it looks like the drivers are trying to keep it clean and push. I don't see anyone really risking their cars at the moment. I'd say in a few laps time though, that's all going to change as we see Kepa is trying to come around 4/10 of a second back. He's got John Meister right on him though, only 2/10 of a second behind him.
But there's also a big fight between the Crash and Buchek. Buchek is for now just closest with the gap just behind the Crash, and I think he will be trying to attack him when there will be possibility. But as we can see, there's no chance to overtake in the DRS straight, and we just need to still wait for another overtake. And I think we also forgot to mention that Zandvoort is very difficult track to overtake, and all about the quali is making the big difference, because which position you have on the qualifying session that probably will hold you into the finish. But we can now see that Spaghetti Mafia lose his first place for the Radosław Kepa, and that's this is him that need to really push about for the P1 again. But he have on his back John Meister also, that he's pushing so hard, and as I said before, from first to almost 7th place, there's such big DRS train that definitely something's happened. But Radosław Kepa, something's happened.
Oh no. Looks like he was pushing, trying to hold the lead. He spun out. He's down into P7. I don't see any wing damage, so he might have got lucky there and gotten away with that. Something I did just notice, though, back in the rear of the field, Senor and Godfather. Who is that just spun? Is that Buchik? So it looks like drivers trying to push is starting to come back on him as we see Velix gets past Kepa there. So Ferrari up 4-5. John Meister falling back here. So Spaghetti Mafia regains his lead and almost has Wasserschwein out of DRS range here. So that prediction about drivers pushing and starting to push harder in the next few laps, I may have commentator cursed it, which is something I like to do from time to time. It creates a little action. Looking back through though, I noticed Senor and Godfather are back on hard tires. Did they spin and get damage? Was there something I missed there?
Because they had damage. And Kappa has damage as well. He's going pitting as well. He's going to put another set of medium tires.
Interesting strategy there. So he will be committing to a 2-stop at this point because I don't think you can make mediums last for 31 laps here. Am I wrong, guys?
Yeah, no, they can't.
Okay.
Probably stay a bit in the mediums, just put soft in the end to push.
Absolutely. Looking through here, it looks like this gap top 3 have started to break away from the rest of the pack. So with DRS, Wasserschwein's going to be very, very interesting to watch here in the next few laps, trying to catch up to Spaghetti Mafia. Battling P9, P10. It looks like Ofsky, Buchik, and Fabian are having a strong battle here as Ofsky tries to make a late dive, goes into the gravel, and it looks like that is going to cost him both positions as he rejoins back behind the drivers he was trying to compete with. A risky move, and it did not pay off in that occasion.
Definitely, it was of course good looking, but definitely not paid off. And Ofsky just those good positions.
Big spin there from Buchik.
Going pitting, probably to put it in a set of tires and a wing.
Good for him that it just happened just before the pits, that he have opportunity just to go and change for the new compound and of course new wing. But as we can see, as you said before, Bradley, just for now we have already 6th lap and we didn't have any safety car and virtual safety car. For now, isn't that just the cleanest race so far in the season?
Absolutely. Some of these drivers have gotten really lucky with their spins that they haven't DNF'd, especially that spin there from Buchik. I really thought he was going to DNF with that because that was a hard hit to the wall, so I don't know if he just got lucky there or what exactly happened for him. But yeah, so far it looks like some drivers getting very lucky and unlucky. Buchik opting to go onto hard tires at this point, so he may be able to run to the end of the race. Tires will die off near the end, but that could show competitive for him.
And also, it's very good looking for the
Crash almost crashed into Wasserschwein, trying to pass 71, but luckily they are all good. And start 1, 2, 3, just trying to push away from 4th place. It's going to be interesting to see the fight between these 3.
Absolutely. That was a risky move there from Crash. At the moment, the grid is... They're really settling down, but it's like you have these little pockets of action that you have to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, and I was talking about 4th and 5th place, while both of the Ferrari drivers very good looking for now, but we can see just behind the Velix is John Meister trying to push very hard on Velix, and
Fabian spun. And the first sector.
So many spins.
Yeah, and just he broke his wing and isn't able to fight, or
how are these drivers getting so lucky and not DNFing? It seems like by now it should have been.
But now it's getting very interesting. We can see Crash going inside and try attack Wasserschwein, but still he's somehow managed to hold his 2nd place. Very good exit from turn 1 from the Wasser. Crash didn't have any chance to go in front of the Wasser, and we can see that the first 3 drivers have such an amazing pace. And as you said before, the whole grid is settling up just right now, and we can see those 3 drivers have an opportunity to fight until the end. And I think the main thing in the whole race will be definitely on a strategy.
Absolutely. like we said, some of these drivers spinning and getting lucky. It may prove beneficial as they go into hard tires here and keep going. Fabian into the pits again after another spin. Looking through here, Crash is really, really trying to dive it into T1. I respect the grit as he jumps the sausage curb here in the right left-hander. I respect the grit of him trying to go through. But I fear that he's going to try that one too many times as he spins on the curb there in the third corner. So that is going to see him out of contention in this front battle.
And that's another opportunity for other drivers, as we can say Vixie, Velix, and John Meiser and Koshor just jump over the Crash and gain one position. Also, Ovsky just jump into the seventh place. But we have safety car, and I don't know what happened with the Crash. He's going so slow, and he's currently on the 11th place while his teammate is on the 10th place. So basically, a lot of drivers just get a big benefit from his spin.
For sure. It looks like he may have just not got going fast enough, so they decided to throw a safety car. I'm not for sure, but he just gets a 5-second teammate or 5-second penalty for a collision with his teammate as Mercedes are going to double stack in the box here. Lots of drivers opting to go into the pits now. It looks like both Mercedes go in, McLaren, Red Bull, AlphaTauri, and an Alfa Romeo all opting to pull their drivers in. Strategy going to be interesting. I see some drivers going on to softs, a couple of drivers going on to hards, and looks like Kepa's going to go on to a fresh set of mediums. So a lot of split strategy, and I don't know who's got the best one at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard to predict, but also both of drivers from the Mercedes have 5 seconds penalty, so it can be crucial for them until the end of the race. But as we said before, the strategy will have the biggest impact for the end of the race. But Buchek and Fischer decided to jump into the hards. And do you think, guys, is it possible to drive until the end on this compound?
It's going to be
I
hard, but I think if we do a bit of tires, I mean, it's going to be possible.
I think it's possible. I just think they're going to be very, very slow on pace near the end. The one thing I'm questioning right now is the drivers going on to softs because they're committing themselves to a multiple stop strategy and they're going to have pace near the end, but I don't think that that'll be the best option, pace at the end versus the track position. As you said, SENTEX earlier, this is a hard track to pass on. So unless they're willing to try to throw it like Crash in turn one and send it up the inside and risk it, I don't think this will be the best option for them.
Yeah, especially that you need to go for the pit for the second time just to change those tires. Softs, there's no chance to drive like 26 laps on them. Even though when you go to the pit, it says like the life average of soft is just for the 26 laps. But to be honest, and let's be honest, there's no chance to drive on them until the finish. And that's why I'm thinking Spaghetti Mafia and Kushor definitely made the best option that they possibly had, and I think it's gonna be a really paid off for them that they will definitely drive 26 laps on those compounds until the end, and from my experience I know that it's possible.
Absolutely.
Be interesting. Sorry.
No, you're good. Should be interesting. Go ahead.
It should be interesting to see the difference between the tires, the hard and soft, Wassersparen, Jan Meist, and Vixie. Probably also couldn't benefit for those slow, hard tires to jump a few positions. I know Wassersparen isn't going to think twice to send up the inside one and take P1.
I think with safety cars, the biggest thing we've learned in FRL is it always gets interesting into turn one after a safety car restart because if P2 can keep up and predict when first place is going to take off, typically they can get a good run and create a great battle through the first few corners. Um, should be in this moment as Kushor spins out there in the safety car lap. It looks like he was trying to build heat in his tires and just lost the rear end, pulled a George Russell, if you will.
Yeah, especially it hurts so much when you will do that in front of the safety car when you have just one simple task to do, just follow someone that is in front of you, and that's all. And when you just want to hit your tires, I know that especially from my experience when I do that, but it was on the formation lap on Abu Dhabi last season. I spun when I wanted to hit my tires, and it weren't totally paid off. But this spin led me to actually hit about that 90 degree for the tires, and I think it was it was kind of cool because I didn't need to go whole formation lap, and I was just standing in the in front of the row and was just chilling. But yeah, of course, it was kind of the joke. But what is going to happen is that the safety car will go in this lap. So basically, the battle for this race will restart once again, and we will see that. Strategy from the drivers that currently have a soft compound will going to pay off, or Spaghetti Mafia will drive until the end. But we can see now Wasserstein is already trying to attack Spaghetti Mafia, and he will try to go outside, but I don't think so. He will go just in front of the Spaghetti Mafia. He had a better exit from this turn, and currently we don't see any difference about changing on the grid.
Absolutely. Wasserstein trying to send it around the outside into turn one was really interesting. It looks like there was a bit of a lockup and a little bit of a accordion effect in the midfield. Spaghetti Mafia not slowing down, but it looks like drivers thought he was going to go sooner than he did. So a few collisions back in the midfield costing some people. But with Wasserstein, he had a great run on Spaghetti Mafia. Unfortunately, couldn't convert. And John Meister back in P3 has a great run currently on Wasserstein, trying to convert things around and switch things up. Of course, no DRS for 2 laps after safety car, so it's all a case of slipstream at this point and getting a better run as they go around here into the third sector.
Exactly, and as we can see, just for now, although drivers have already some penalties that can be a little bit very important, beautiful English, isn't it? But it can be very important at the end of the race that we already saw from just previous races. But we can see now John Meister trying to attack Wasserstein inside, but is he able to defend? No, he isn't, and that was just a beautiful action from the Wasserstein. But I can see now I have some issues, and Fabian just made an fastest lap with 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Isn't that a world record?
Yeah, my timing screen just glitched out. I'm showing Fabian in front, which I don't think is right. I'm pretty sure Spaghetti Mafia is in. Yeah, so we'll see if we can reset this really quick.
Yeah, I think you don't need to do that because probably after this lap it will go normally.
Absolutely. Yeah. F1 2021 best.
At its best.
Yeah, in the picture, as we can see, most of everything will go normally, and updates will of course fix the game. As we can see, it is not, and we need to fight with that. But John Meister with currently a normal and crashed now with the fastest lap, 1 minute 13 seconds and 5. So we're still seeing that those top 5 drivers still fighting really hard for the place, and fight for the podium will be especially interesting.
Absolutely. It looks like Fabian's bugged because he left the lobby is the information I'm getting from admin. But sometimes that happens. Welcome to F1 2021, boys and girls. EA bought Codemasters, and now it's the best game ever. Hope we don't have to pay for new tracks and new cars and new tires in the future when we go to 2022. Looking here, Spaghetti Mafia, John Meister. John Meister is going to be very competitive here for the lead. I think he is trying to get a little bit better of a run. He gets a little loose coming out here in the middle sector, trying to get a better run on Spaghetti Mafia. Can't convert it, but he does have the better tire and the softer compound, which should give him a little bit better of a run. Looking here, gap dropping, Spaghetti gets a good run in the third sector, which is, I think, what's saving him at the moment and helping him to keep his place, which I might have spoke too soon. John Meister dives around the inside here. They're drag racing down the front straightaway. DRS open. John Meister is around him before turn 1 can hit. Can Spaghetti Mafia make a run back through turn 2 into turn 3? No, he cannot, and John Meister is going to get himself up into the lead here on lap 15. Now the question is, can he hold it through the end?
This is just unbelievable how those top 3 drivers currently setting just behind their backs and still holding this pace. And as we saw in this race, a little mistake could be very painful for you, because you can lose almost everything that you worked on from the start of the race. And definitely we saw that Radosław Kepa, especially because he's currently on the 9th place, and I saw he was a little bit struggling in the middle sector, and he was just like a little bit drifting. So I think it could be a really difficult, even though to drive on the medium compound until the end of this race.
For sure, it's going to be difficult, but if you can conserve your tires, you could make it happen and go to the end. Tight battle here for what I think it's supposed to be P6, but it's showing as P7 on the timing screens. Ofsky and Vixie battling through. Vixie gets the pass done here on the main straight. It looks like the main straight with DRS is our primary passing zone at the moment, and where all of the drivers are getting their passes done. John Meister, Spaghetti Mafia here, or Spaghetti Mafia and Wasserschwein, I'm sorry, having a little bit of a scrap there through the tight left-hander, and it looks like Spaghetti Mafia can hold on. Spaghetti Mafia on the hard tires is starting to take a little bit of a beating, but like we talked about with pit strategy, I think he's on the preferred strategy at the moment.
Yeah,
between Spaghetti Mafia and Wasserschwein, allowed to crash to close, and he's only 4 tenths behind Wasserschwein, so it's going to be a 3-way battle. I think Spaghetti Mafia is going to be a bit slow, but in the long run, it's going to pay off to stay on those hard tires.
as we saw, John Meister took advantage of getting those softs and overtake Spaghetti Mafia, while Wasserschwein is just like now struggling a little bit, and if he want to try to overtake Spaghetti Mafia, he really need to do that as quick as possible, and took advantage of his softs, as we seeing just right now from the John Meister. He already have 2 seconds just in front of the second driver, but now Wasserschwein just overtakes Spaghetti Mafia, and that's what I said before. They need to push on the maximum limits as they want to stay in front of the Spaghetti Mafia, and took advantage of those softs unless they will go to the pit and change those tires. But I can agree what you said, AD Gamer. Spaghetti Mafia currently is, I think, in the best place that he can even imagine, because those hard compound, I think, will be going just for under those 26 laps when he just changed for them, and for me, he is just now pretender to go for winning this race, but we saw that earlier in different races that anything could happen. So saying right now about the prediction who gonna win this race, I think it's not paid off, because everything could happen.
Absolutely. I was looking here at the moment, trying to keep up and make some predictions. So looks like the longest I've seen the soft tires last so far, as we see Crash and Spaghetti Mafia having a little bit of a duel here. Coming around the first corner, and it looks like Spaghetti Mafia just barely hangs on there. Crash trying to send it up the inside at turn 1 again, as we've seen him attempt multiple times, and just not enough run out of the corner to try to hold the place, but he does typically get it on the run in, can't keep it on the run out. Looking at strategy here, soft tire runners, when they have to pit again, as we know they're going to have to pit again, we're on lap 19 of 36, it's going to put Spaghetti Mafia, Velix, and Kepa in a very strong position to be top 3. As Spaghetti Mafia runs off the track there, and it looks like he may have gotten away with no damage again. Starting to wonder if the damage is bugged.
It's hard to say, because we already see that
It's the
Fabian
graphic.
is
The
still
graphics
holding
are
on to first.
bugged.
Yeah, it might be. it might be. So we can be sure about those damages, because for us it could looks like the drivers have a full wing, but for them it could be like yellow. So I wouldn't be so sure about that.
For sure. Looking through, so Spaghetti Mafia down in the P5 now, but with the gaps he has ahead of him, when those front three drivers pit, it'll put him into P1, and it looks like Kepa and Alfsky are having a little bit of a battle here as Velix leaves the session at the moment. Interesting to see so many drivers leaving the session here and joining back in. I'm wondering if maybe that's a technical issue on our end or on the host end. I'm not sure. Things are really settling out though here in the race so far. It looks like things have really calmed down.
Yeah, and now we're going to see only Crash just spun again and Spaghetti Mafia overtake him, and I think it will be very, very crucial until the end of the race. He just lost his time that he gained in front of the Spaghetti Mafia, and even Radosław Kepa just overtake him and he is in front of him. So maybe there is still chance for Radosław Kepa to fight again for the podium. We will see.
Yeah, it looks like, especially now with that spin, that's going to put him in a really strong position to try to push up and get himself onto a podium place as we go here around for lap 20 of 36, 16 to go here in this Dutch GP. Looking at gaps and intervals. Closest battle we're going to have so far, it looks like is going to be Crash on Kepa. Front two seem to have really stretched their lead out on the rest of the grid.
Yeah, I also have booked the times gap between the drivers, and I don't think so we can do anything about it. So we just need to wait until the everything could fix and we can see the normal times. As we can see right now, Gamer is also trying to catch Buciek, but Buciek is on the soft compound, so I think there wouldn't be such a big problem just to run out in front of the Gamer. And as you said before, the race just have a little bit quiet down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been really interesting to see the drivers just kind of relax and calm down here. I think they know that we're into the long haul at this point and that it's more of a strategy game and less of a passing game. And seeing some of these spins that have happened, I think, has gotten them to kind of tone it down a bit. 80 Gamer, with your experience there in split one, is that typically what we see with drivers is aggressive up front and then kind of slow down in the back half of the race?
Yeah, you usually the easiest you can overtake is in the first few laps because the cars are much closer. So yeah, in this stage of the race, people are going to start to back off a bit, just trying to save a bit of the tires and just plan the perfect strategy. And I think, as you said, Spaghetti Mafia just planned ahead, and it's in a perfect position to end up in a good fight.
For sure. He's
As
got
as Vixie, I think, spun. Yeah, Vixie spun, and also has spun. I don't know if it's the tires are starting to overheat, which is a sign to. Oh, it's the rain started to fall because they said it's going to rain a bit. So see case to see and wait.
I forgot the rain was even a
Yeah.
possibility, to be honest. So now that the rain's here, anything we've talked about in terms of tire strategy, forget whatever we've talked about in the past little bit. Rain coming in is going to really change this race up because it looks like at that point, the drivers, it doesn't matter what tire you're on. Softs are going to have to push, but the softs are risking some really severe die off here as a lot of drivers are on 12 lap old, 11 lap old softs. So Spaghetti Mafia I still think he's in the best position with hard tires. As we know in Spain last season when 80 Gamer won and Wasserschwein finished right behind him in P2, strategy when it rains in FRL, it's all about who blinks and who picks the best time to go on intermediates. Lots of drivers tried to back in Spain last season tried to keep running on the wrong tire, and it cost them positions, it cost them races entirely. So at that point, I think if it starts raining, when you switch over is going to be the main key.
Eddie Gamer, if you have any tip for the drivers when to change tires for intermediates, when they should do that, because as we can see now, it's going to start raining right now.
It's all about feel. You have to feel the car, and when it starts sliding a bit too much, it's the time to pit. It's up to the drivers when to pit when they feel the slicks are capable of handling that much water in the circuit, as Landon was found out in Russia. So it's going to start raining more. This rain started to come, so it's a waiting game. I think John Mice is going to stay out a little bit more lap. I don't know how he's feeling. I think it's going. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. So let's see who's going to beat first.
One thing I'm noticing is Spaghetti Mafia on his hard tires is starting to build that gap. But the thing with the rain, the hard tires will be the first ones to stop holding on to grip. But the soft tires are dying significantly at this stage. So if it were to stay dry, again, Spaghetti Mafia would be in a great point. Coming around here, it looks like nobody's going to go into the pits at this moment. Maybe I lied. Youngies is into the pits, and he's the first driver to go on intermediates. I don't think it's wet enough yet. Only a few raindrops. But he could... If he can keep the tires cool enough until it really starts to come down, he may prove to show strong here in the end. As we see, Crash is now blinking as well. What is Crash doing with his pit stop strategy? Intermediates as well. Mercedes making a big gamble and blinking early to go on to the inners. I still don't think it's near wet enough. I think we have a couple more laps of dry racing. So that could be interesting to see what ends up happening, because I don't think they'll be able to keep the intermediates cool enough on this twisty, windy track.
Yeah, it's definitely too early to change for the intermediate compounds, and as we can see, drivers still have a grip on the medium, hard, and soft compounds. But as you said before, we can see that Spaghetti Mafia is gaining on his pace, just to going from 4 seconds time gap to almost 2.3 seconds gap behind the John Meister. And talking about the Mercedes boys, I think they might be struggling a little bit, but as you said before, if they will somehow manage to just stay, as we can see now, Crash is struggling and sliding a little bit on this compound, it can be very painful if drivers doesn't need to change compounds for the inters, and then they can drive on the currently compounds that they have already, and then will be like for the Mercedes boys, it could be the intermediates wouldn't be not necessarily needed on this track.
For sure, and it looks like a couple more drivers have blinked there. Godfather and Vixie back in 15-16 blinked on the inners as well. As we see, Crash was 33 seconds down on that lap that he just put in. The rain is starting to fall a little bit harder, but I still don't think it's falling hard enough as the leaders are coming around into the third sector at this point. Is this going to be the lap they blink? As DRS is still enabled, which is typically the sign that you're good to stay on your hard compound tires. Spaghetti is sliding a little bit, but still think Spaghetti spins, lucky to stay out of the barrier, and I think he's going to dive straight into the pits now. As I said, it looks like he still had the grip, and Spaghetti straight into the pits at this point. 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
That must hurt a lot, and as we can see, he's changing not for the intermediates, he's changing for the medium compound, so that can be also very interesting, and I want to see how it will go until 10 laps to go with this race.
I don't think he meant to do that, but I think because of where he spun and where his pit box is, I don't think he got to change his pit strategy fast enough. Is going to be my guesstimation. As I'm jumping around here, looks like John Meister's having a hard time holding on to his car. A lot of drivers not having a fun time at the moment, it looks like. I think we're getting very close to that crossover point as Buchek comes into the pits here. and he is going on to intermediate. So it looks like some of these drivers are finding that crossover point at the moment is now. Some drivers still, though, opting to stay out. Is it supposed to stay raining till the end, or do we think the rain's going to let up some?
Hard to say. Because this is
John Meister is spitting. I think he's going to go on Inters now.
this is not such a hard rain, heavy rain, and as I said before, it's hard to predict because I can see that Crash isn't going so fast on the intermediate compounds, but also drivers on the medium and soft compounds isn't going that fast as they want to, and it might be difficult. But also we need to say that about Spaghetti Mafia. He's going now to the pit lane, and I'm considering that he's changing. Yeah, exactly. He's changing his compound for the intermediates. Also, he's staying for this penalty with the 5 seconds, so he have now a clean account.
Strategy is throwing me because it looks like most drivers are on the intermediates at the moment. FOXXXES is still out on softs, though, and he's on 16 lap old softs, but he seems to be doing good on pace. So that's really throwing me for a loop.
It's looking very interesting, and I think FOXXXES will decide to go for the intermediates right now. Even if he will do that, he have a big gap advantage in front of the Radosław Kepa over 20 seconds, and he's making this gap even bigger. So I'm quite interested that FOXXXES will decide to stay on this soft compound, or rather he will decide also to change in their intermediates.
For sure. As he comes around the third corner here, this will be the place. And then Kushor is still out on mediums as well. So interesting to see these two drivers still out. And then Fabian is still glitched up into P1, which is something to remember. FOXXXES deciding to pit at this moment. And I can see the pit crew coming out on the intermediates. Kushor is in the middle sector, and it looks like he is not as slow as you would think, only a couple seconds down from where he would be. So, but all the other drivers on intermediates, is everyone holding on well as Kushor spins into the wall? So intermediate conditions for sure at this moment. The strategy's thrown me out the window at this point. I'm not sure what to expect here for the end of the race.
I'm speechless right now because anything could happen. Eddie Gamer?
It really could change if the rain stops, if the rain continues. We don't know if the rain is going to worsen. The pilots are going to take wet tires. We don't know. Have to wait and see. The rain, I suppose the track is getting wet. I see more rain in the ground. So let's see. Could be all to change.
7 laps to go here in this Dutch Grand Prix here in the Netherlands. Coming around, John Meister looking very strong still. 5-second gap on Wasserschwein. Wasserschwein, of course, we know is great at calling when to switch to tires. And it looks like at the moment Wasserschwein made a good call for when he switched over. Spaghetti Mafia, crowd favorite, down into P7 now after the pit strategy coming around. Unfortunate spin for him, knocked him down a few places, but he's still doing really well as John Meister spins, and that is going to be our first DNF here, and that'll absolutely bring out a safety car. I'm sure of it. Safety car deployed here on lap 29. First safety car of the Grand Prix, and it only took us some rain.
And especially that made that John Meister, when he was currently leading the race, it must be heartbreaking, but this is what we call a motor race. Anything could happen, and we were witnesses about his crash, and it must be very painful. But this is already a history. Now we can see that Wasserstein is already currently leading this race, and on the second place we have FOXXXES. But as you said before, we have now a safety car that can change almost anything in this race, even though if we have 7 laps to go.
7 laps to go, and this is the second safety car, not the first. I think I said first, but second safety car. The first one didn't have a DNF, which I think is what's messed me up here. So, I don't anticipate anyone pitting, or did somebody pit and I missed it?
Kusher and
Yeah,
the
for sure.
Godfather pitted.
Okay, so they're in the pits now, going on to what I would assume would be fresh intermediates, because it
Yeah,
looks
fresh
like
indeed.
the rain isn't letting up. The track is pretty wet, so what we have is what we're going to have at the moment. 6 laps to go, probably 5 or 4 when we come out from safety car. Driver's going to send it, we think, through these last few laps, or is the rain going to scare some
They
people?
they need to. They don't have any other chance to fight for the positions, and I think we have similar scenario as we have in real life Formula One from last season in Abu Dhabi. That in almost over on the end of the race, the drivers will be fighting to each other, and especially as I said before, Radosław Kepa just came back to fight, and we have him currently on the third place, so he came back for the podium. But also we need to say that almost every single driver now, if he will good jump into the restart, he have opportunity to fight, because as we can see, driving on the intermediates can be very painful, and maybe give you a big advantage of the other drivers.
For sure. It's 80 Gamer. What would your thoughts be going into this?
In my point of view of, as a driver, it's going to push, try to overtake as many cars as I can, and let God decide my fate, and just push, because the safety car restart is it's like it's bunching up the fields, and as Fabian spawns, I think he's having some network issues. He's teleporting a lot, and there's also opportunity of also trying to overtake Fabian, who is supposed to be in first place. But it's going to be interesting the last few laps between Vossishvain, Olski, and Kepa. Olski is a good wet driver. I remember in Spain, I think he finished in P3
Yeah,
last
Yep,
season. So it's going to be interesting. Spaghetti Mafia to climb up, and maybe search for a podium. It's going to be interesting last few laps.
for sure. I think Fabian is bugged and is not P1 at the moment, where he had that network connection issue. I think that was what got him there. We're still waiting on the field to bunch up, and it looks like there's a very large gap in the field still. Only a few cars behind the safety cars. The safety car is just flying at the moment. Lap
yeah.
31 of 36. Dave saying that Fabian is actually P1 at the moment and not bugged
But
out.
no chance. Uh,
So,
I just wanted to mention about, as you said before, our fan favorite Spaghetti Mafia. He's going now on the 6th place, but what is very important that two drivers in front of him have penalties. Valix have 3 seconds penalty and Radosław Kepa have 5 seconds penalty. So basically, if he will hold just behind those two drivers, he have chance to fight for the podium also. So as I said before, the ending of this race after the finishing the safety car will be what I wanted to say is will be definitely a very very interesting ending of this race.
for sure. I'm not sure what the finishing position is here. I see in chat they're talking about it really quick, so I'm not sure what's going on or who's where. All I know is some excitement is coming up here. Looking around, we're still waiting on cars to bunch up at the moment, but it looks like safety car is still out. We still don't have all the drivers bunched up as we're on lap 32, but they're
Oh,
bringing the safety car in this lap anyways, and that's not. Things are very confusing at the moment here on F1 2021. Coming around here, lap 32 of 36. And Wasserschwein slowing way down. Fabian in the lead going away. But then behind him is Gamer, not Ovsky. Gamer is behind Fabian. So this should be an interesting run here for the final few laps. Wasser coming around, and it looks like He is just going to relax and drive through. Behind him, it looks like Kepa is trying to have a little bit of a battle here. And I believe Ofsky and one of the lap cars is Fabian DNFs here.
Retire.
With 3 laps to go, they won't call a safety car here at this moment. Lots of confusion going on here for the final couple of laps. But it looks like everything's finally reset. Wasserschwein is up in the lead with a 2.9 second gap here on Ofsky.
This is so intense that anything could happen, and as we can see now, the middle of the grid, like just from first to sixth place, have a chance to fight because the time gap isn't that big, just not to fight to each other. And we can see now also Kushor have penalty just to drive through also in the pit lane, so he will definitely lose his 12 positions. And Gamer just spun as I thinking, and he's also lapped. So the currently positions for the drivers setting down just for fight in finishing though in the, as you said before, in 2 laps until the end. So I'm very interesting what will happen.
Absolutely. Coming around here, 2 laps to go at the moment. It looks like Spaghetti Mafia, 0.3 of a second trying to make up. Kepa only has a 1/10.5 as he dives around the inside there of Ofsky. Is he able to hold on to that position there? Inside hasn't seemed to be the way to pass as they come around. They're still neck and neck going into the next right-hander. They bump wheels a little bit there, but it looks like Kepa is able to hold the position as he had a little bit of contact there with Ofsky. Ofsky dropping down into P3. Spaghetti Mafia, P4, trying to get a run here as he passed Crash, and he's trying to get a run here to get around Ofsky, and his teammate Gamer 2021 is in front of him. That's not Ofsky. John Meister leaving the session there. It looks like connection issues going around for everyone, or he is already DNF'd. Actually, I just can't read.
Velix just spun and he's currently at the 7th place. So we can see now in the front of the grid there is no a big time gap between the drivers and anyone. Just every single driver just want to be on the podium, and they know that they have chance. And now we can see Crash will try to attack Spaghetti Mafia, but it isn't so close. And now he have a bad exit from this, but he will try to attack in the main strength, so it could be goes very interesting because Spaghetti Mafia also will try to attack Ofsky, and the gap is definitely bigger than in front of the Crash. So I just want to see that Crash will totally send it and try to attack Spaghetti Mafia.
And Crash sends it. They bump wheels. He cuts left a little bit there, and it looks like they have some hard contact going around. He's going to back out of it. Spaghetti Mafia holds on to the position there. 2 laps to go at the moment, but it looks like Crash just trying everything desperate to get that P4 for his team.
Also Wasserschwein with already 3.2 seconds time gap in front of the rest of the drivers, so he is just like driving and chilling, and he will probably drive it until the end. Of course, anything could happen. He can slip, and it can cost him a lot. But we can also see that Fischer is trying to fight with Buciek, and there is so close fight. We can see that he is almost sitting on his back, and he will be trying to fight for better points. He's currently at the 9th place, and we'll try to see also 8th and 9th place, both of Red Bull drivers stick in points.
Sure, hate to cut you off here, SENTEX, but Spaghetti Mafia is now on the podium as he gets past Ofsky coming through 3rd sector, so we're into the final right-hander. Spaghetti Mafia back on the podium after some unlucky strategy and some gutsy strategy coming from him. He's back up into P3. I don't know if he can make up the 5 seconds he needs to as Ofsky tries to dive around the inside there. Ofsky, sorry, dives around the inside. Crash gets past Ofsky there after his gutsy move. Hate to cut you off, but that was a tight battle that sees Spaghetti Mafia back into the podium places. The fan favorite up into the top 3.
Even though he is currently on the 2nd place, because as I said before, Kepa have currently 5 seconds penalty, so also Crash will stand on the podium if they will hold his pace and not let him go over those 5 seconds. Definitely Radosław will try to hold it, but it will be very difficult, even its last lap. So we're seeing just right now the biggest fight of the season, and I'm just wanted to say that it was very interesting and very emotional racing. That we saw a beautiful fights and beautiful overtakes, but the race isn't finished over yet.
Absolutely. Anything can happen. Just a couple corners left. We could see any sort of unlucky things happen here. As Wasserschwein is going to round the final corner here onto the right. Wasserschwein, of course, finished second place in Belgium. He finished sixth place last race, but he's going to get the podium here in the Netherlands as he comes up and he finishes up into P1. Kempa comes across P2, but he does have penalties, which promotes Spaghetti Mafia into P2, and Crash is going to get on the podium here in P3. Kempa drops all the way down to P5 as Ofsky also gets past him there due to that 5-second penalty. We see Senor come across P6, Velix 7, so things go around. So Wasserschwein putting himself on the top step for Aston Martin, but Spaghetti Mafia, the crowd favorite, up into P2 after starting on pole, having some unlucky spins there, had a 360 right before the rain hit. Poor call on pits, had to go on to whatever tires he could go on, but he finds himself up in second place with Crash in P3. What a race.
Yeah, I will say that again. I'm speechless. Everything what we could even imagine can happen in this race just happened. We had rain conditions, we have dry conditions, we have a lot of problems with the strategy, with the tires. We saw beautiful overtakes, we saw beautiful fights, we saw mistakes. Just we just we saw everything. I'm speechless right now, really.
Split 2 never fails to disappoint. I love Split 2 races because you never know what's going to happen, and it's always hard racing. It's always good racing, though. Like, Split 2 just never fails to impress me. Let's mention Topalve, too. P7 after starting last place on the grid, but absolute chaos. I love this. I love what Split 2 has brought to FRL. Amazing racing. And I'm with you, SENTEX. I'm a little speechless.
Y'all are.
I also want to know what AD Gamer is thinking about this race.
I'm still trying to process everything. The last few laps were amazing. The Wasserschwein did a restart amazingly. He pushed when he needed to push. Unfortunately, Fabian, who was supposedly P1, crashed. But I think the last few laps, some battles, Spaghetti Mafia climbed up, as I said, from P6 to P2, as it was expected. Oski, I was quite impressed also. But I think was a good end to the perfect race.
Absolutely. So that's going to be Split 2 rounded out here. Split 1 comes up in 12 minutes. Do not leave as we'll jump into Split 1 here. SENTEX, I know you're driving in Split 1. I ask you this every week. What are you taking away from this race?
Definitely, I will take that. Strategy have a big thing in whole race, but anything when rain fall down, anything could happen. So I will try to not go on the curb and not spinning, not crashing myself as I used to. And I think I can drive until the end, and I hope I will not fall down over the top 10.
For sure. SENTEX, we'll let you go. Good luck on your race.
Thank you.
Should be interesting
Bye-bye.
to see what happens. Bye-bye. All right, 80 Gamer. So, few minutes in until Split 1 kicks off. What are your thoughts on this Split 2 race, and what are we expecting here in Split 1? Anything crazy?
I think the Split 2 race put the standards very high. I think in Split 1 there are more at stakes. I think some people are going to back off, some people are going to push harder. I think it's going to be as exciting, if not more, as Split 2. I probably the weather is going to be different. It's not going to rain, but I think it's going to be a very promising race. I hope it's not going to be boring, but I'm hopeful to see what our drivers are capable of.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break here, grab something to drink, reset. We'll leave you with some good music to hang out with. Join us back here in about 5 minutes whenever we get everything set up for Split 1. time, and it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. All right, I got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I got something to drink. 80 Gamer, you got water. We're here. We're back. Welcome to Split 1 now of this round 4 here in the Netherlands of FRL. Split 2 never fails to not amaze me. So they always amaze me because, well, English is my native language. I don't know how to speak it, though. Welcome, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good afternoon. Hope everyone enjoyed Split 2. We're back for Split 1. Split 1 is where the big boys are. This is going to be exciting. SENTEX Racing, of course, who commentated with us. We heard kind of his perspectives, his views on the race. 80 Gamer raced last week, commentator this week. How's it feel to be here?
Feels perfect. It feels the natural evolution of a Formula One driver. Retire from racing and then start commenting. I feel just like Justin Button. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. Like I said, it's the big boys league. Not to like to okay, not to say bad about the split 2 drivers, but split 1 is where the real thing is. Split 2 was exciting. I think split 1 is going to be even more. It could be an interesting race in our hands, and just hope to see it is as entertaining, if not more, as Split 2.
For Split 2, we saw rain affect everything and threw things for the loop. Looking here, weather, I'm interested to see what happens and where that brings into the mix. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, though, I'm really excited to see what Roloski and Jalashna and Tazo do. Those are your current second, first, and third place, respectively. Mercedes splitting a Ferrari driver. Jalajna, a rookie here in FRL, but not driving like a rookie in any way. 2 second place finishes and then top step of the podium in Imola last week. 80 Gamer, do you think Roloski can bring it to him? Are there any other drivers you're looking at? What's your thoughts here with the Split 1 standings as they sit?
I think, as you said perfectly, Jalazne and Tazo, I think, are a really strong team together. They're both rookies, but are not showing rookie pace. Roloski also is one of the more veteran drivers on our grid. Proved in more than one occasion that is championship material. But I think we have to look at Jack also. It's I don't think his second race as a full time driver. It's one to look out for. He was saying he was quite good at his track. Was feeling a bit comfortable. Was saying a little bad things about the tires. But Jack is going to be one to look out for, and I think we're going to see like a four-way battle for the lead between Roloski, Jelazny, Jack, and Tazo, and probably even more drivers to take it up to the front.
Sure, it's going to be interesting to watch. Of course, Roloski drivers champion last season. Jack was the runner-up last season. We know they battle. We watched them battle last week extremely hard. I think if they get near each other, it's going to be really, really fun to watch. I'm really excited to see what JJ brings to the table, though. JJ not having the best start of a season so far, but we know he's a good driver and a strong driver. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch him. Same thing with the McLaren drivers, Debe and True Hero. SENTEX, all of these drivers have more to bring to the table than I think some of them have so far this season. So I'm really looking forward to watching all of these drivers push. And then I think this being the fourth race of the season, I think this is really going to show us where the competition is and where everything plays for this season. Um, Same with Constructors' Championship. It's Mercedes, Ferrari, Alfa Romeo. Alpine only 2 points behind Alfa Romeo in P4. I think this is really going to solidify drivers and Constructors' Champions and really show who has the run on what for this split one. One thing we do need to mention, Haas, of course, 80 Gamer, you were a Haas driver last week. Now you're up here commentating with me. We do need to mention that Haas has two new drivers. They're carrying Pafixian, who is back now after some equipment malfunctions, and then Chapa, who won last week as a reserve driver in Split 2, and he showed so much pace that when the spot opened up in Haas for Split 1, they went ahead and promoted him straight up. 80 Gamer, we're going to miss you racing and being on track, but looking at the new Haas lineup, do you think Haas so far bottom of everything? Do you think that's going to bring a different feel to that Haas team and let them bring a little bit more in, or what's kind of your opinions there?
Thing has a new face. He had the same face between because of me and Crazy last season. We both uh, retired, let's say. I forgot to mention Pafixian also. The first race back is going to be one to look out for. And I think Haas is in good hands. I hope they all the best for my ex team, let's say. And I think it's going to be a team to look out for. I think it's a bit too late for fight for the championship, but like solid midfield to climb up the points. I think it's going to be an interesting battle to see Haas on the upright.
Absolutely. Looking here as qualifying is beginning, JJ, first driver out on track. Lots of soft, medium switches here. We saw with Split 2 qualifying, the drivers pretty much all opted to try to get on softs and then ran a different strategy. Of course, the rain mixed things up. I don't know what the weather prediction is for this race, but looking through as JJ's the first person out to set a lap. What are we thinking? We saw Split 2's qualifying times. What do you think the Split 1 pole position time is going to be?
As JJ said, it's going to be around 110. I think it's possible to do 110. JJ is a contender for a pole position as he is the let's say the time trial master of this league. But I think it's going to be interesting. Like it's going to around the 110, probably even climbed up to the 19. It's going to be interesting. The
Absolutely.
fight for pole.
Absolutely. As we see JJ coming around through the middle sector here into the first or the second of two DRS zones, he sets a purple sector 1 there with or purple sector 2, sorry, I can't talk, with a 49 second. So coming around here, final couple of corners, and you can see JJ, someone who typically loves to mount the curbs, avoiding the curbs a lot here. Curbs, as we saw, were deadly as JJ comes through first time here in Split 1 quali, a 111.1. We don't think that's going to be competitive enough for Paul, as SENTEX puts in a 110.7. So drivers going out early, setting laps in, Rolowski topping his teammate as well. I'm really interested to see who throws their name around here in qualifying.
John Meister up to P3. I'll split to driver is coming to as the reserve. A very good lap from him.
Absolutely. Matty throwing himself into second place with a 110.7. I'm trying to keep up with who's on what lap here. Tazo down in P14 coming around in the third sector, and he looks like he's on a great lap on a set of medium tires as well. Yellow flag sector 2 looks like that's just drivers getting out of the way of other drivers, which qualifying lots of drivers like to do, just slow down and give other people space or try to build gaps themselves. As Tazo comes across here in the Mercedes, P3 in constructors, but P8 on track at the moment. On a set of mediums, though, that's a very competitive time. We can see it looks like the top 10 drivers only separated by half a second. Make that the top 11 drivers now, if I can do math correctly. Top 13 only separated by a second. All the drivers that have set a lap at the moment. A second gap from 14 drivers now. 80 Gamer, we're going to call this a close qualifying, aren't we?
Yeah, it just shows the quality of the drivers we have here. Just 14 drivers, I'm sorry. Like in 1 second of a chair, they're just amazing. And Jack does probably not the hot lap, 11 seconds off the pace. But it's going to be interesting. I think Jack is on a hot lap now. Let's see what time he does.
Absolutely. 29 Bailu coming around the final corner here to set his first time. And he throws in a 1:12.6, so about a second off the pace for him as he slows down to let his teammate go past him, who just started a hot lap as well. You mentioned Jack. Jack with a 1:22. I believe he spun on his out lap, so I think he took a second out lap to reset his tires. At the moment, though, it doesn't look like he's putting in bad pace. Jack, of course, we know is very strong and competitive, so it'll be interesting to see where he lands here.
I think Jack he does purple in sector 2. I think he's
Yep.
going to be in a good position to fight for pole. As the purple sector in medium tires, it's going to be interesting. Also, Roloski, I just got this now. There's a goes P4 with medium tires. So medium seems to be like a good quality tire also. And with Jack goes up to P6, 2/10 of SENTEX. I think it's going to be interesting, as we saw in Split 2. The mediums seem to be a good race tire, and soft a bit lackluster too because of the length of the life.
Mm-hmm.
I think starting on mediums is going to be the strategy for some of the drivers.
Absolutely, and AWS will tell us the pit strategy 4 or 5 times, so don't worry, we're going to know the pit strategy going into the race, presuming there's not weather, of course. Looking here, Frederick out on an out lap, and we can see a few different drivers going through. True Hero on into the pits at the moment. I thought he was on an outlap, jumping around. Lots of drivers on a second outlap here. Looks like warming up and kind of getting ready. So it looks like the split one drivers here with 11 minutes to go. Outlap, go, go, go. Doesn't look like they're hesitating in any way to try to set in times as Frederick starts his flying lap here. 1:11.7 from him, P15. Fresh set of soft tires, so it should be interesting to see if he can improve any here.
Look, Red Bull 1-2 is going to be a strong team performance from Citing Temati. If they can keep this up, it's going to be like real life. Red Bull is going to be very strong. And they've been third place, like you said. McLaren guys are strong. Trujillo hasn't put his lap yet, so it's P18. Bartosz and Prefixian also didn't put his lap. So it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. Choppa tosses himself up into P3 now. Only 0.03 of a second up on Deme. Roloski, JJ, Tazo, and Zalashne not where I thought they would be at the moment, especially the Mercedes drivers down in P11, P12. Do you think they're trying to opt in for strategy over position at the moment as Frederick invalidates his lap?
It's interesting to see because Zelazny was one of the favorites for pole. JJ also. I think the lap weren't as good as they hoped it would be. But I think they still have a card up their sleeve, so I think they're gonna pull a lap that's strong enough for the first few places.
Absolutely. Jalashna goes purple in the first sector, coming around here Second sector, he is going to have a Red Bull to contend with, but that shouldn't be an issue, as I believe the Red Bull in front of him is on a push lap as well. Into the DRS zone on the back straight, if you want to call it a back straight, and he is sending it through 8/10 up on second sector. Not a purple sector, but still a very strong sector. It's amazing to me that Jack has a purple second sector on medium tires. Coming through, Jalajna is sending it around the final couple of corners here. We'll see what time he throws in. He looks to be on an absolute great lap coming through, and it is going to be a 110.2. Throws himself half a second clear into provisional pole with 8.5 minutes left here.
What an amazing lap from Jalazny, the rookie, who is behaving like a rookie, showing his true skills. And I think we're going to see a 1-9 in this quali session, not from Jalazny, or even he could put it at 1-9, but I think the rest of the game is going to up their pace because Matt is in P2 with I thought his strong lap is 5/10 off. Jalazny just dominating this quali.
Absolutely. It looks like True Hero is finally out to do his first flying lap. We'll follow along with him and see where he goes. 8 minutes left. I'm going to anticipate that drivers are going to hold off for a couple minutes and go for one more flyer. With a lap time around a minute, they actually could squeeze in 2 more flying laps if they wanted to. I don't know that that's going to be the strategy the drivers want to pull, though.
I don't know if the Fixian has some kind of problem when he still didn't left the pits. He's one of the favorites for fight for the top positions. I don't know if he has a problem with his gear or let's hope he resolves it and goes back to fight for top positions.
Absolutely. Pafixian, of course, sitting out the first 3 races of the season after some mechanical issues with his wheel. Getting his wheel part in, getting it repaired. He should be back this race, so I don't know if maybe he's just wanting to start from the rear and make sure everything works, or if he's going to try just one flying lap. While we were talking about that, True Hero put in a 1:11.6. McLaren driver, not a super competitive time, but with the grid being this close together and the gaps being separated out, just 2.5 seconds separating all 19 drivers that have set in a lap. The top 14 separated by less than a second. At this point, it's a flick of the hat of who's going to land where.
This True Hero is going to final lap, is in sector 2. Coming up to sector 3 is 1/10 off. So he's going to improve and probably go up to a few places. As you said, the grid is going to be very close, and the 1/10. Okay, he goes into the box, but 1/10 could be the difference between I don't know P10 and P5, for example, because the grid is so close. So it's going to be interesting, and drivers who can take a little bit of edge of the time, it's going to be crucial in this quali.
Absolutely. We're on board with Deva here, who's coming around. Currently in P6, going into the second sector, into the DRS zone. Looking really strong so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the McLaren driver. Not sure if he's going to improve on this lap. It looks like he may improve some. I don't know if it'll be enough to get pole, though, but we'll stick on board. He was purple in the middle sector. Coming around, Deve showing really strong pace here. Rolowski and JJ both out on push laps at the moment, though. It looks like one of them is right behind him. We'll tag along here with Deve as he comes across the line. And what time is he going to put in? He throws in a 1:10.6 flat, so puts himself up into second place. Still 3/10 off of Jalashna, though. So
said 2/10 climbed up. Oh, it's Jack goes P2 with 2/10 off of Jalazny. Really good lap from Jack, but Jalazny is just unreachable at this point.
an amazing time. He put in a 1:10.2. I'm interested to see if JJ is able to improve on it. JJ 1.5 seconds down in the middle sector, so I don't think he's gonna have anything to give this lap. Really tight racing. Turn 1's gonna be chaotic, is all I have to say.
It's going to be fun to watch and to commentate. Just as the session is about to end. No, okay, that's my bad. Can't read numbers, but yeah, it's going to be amazing. Bax gets a 5 points.
Oh,
Great penalty. Don't know why. Illegal blocking. Can't do that. It's in the rules. But as Don't know if Fix and then left the pits as well. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Absolutely. Looking here, lots of drivers. It looks like out. Choppa is one that I'm interested to see if he can put in a time, especially after how much he dominated last week. I think he's going to be one we need to keep our eyes on through the race. Going through as he comes around to set another time, he puts in a 1:10.5, throws himself up into fourth place. Roloski P3. So it's anyone's game at this point. 3 minutes and 45 seconds left here in qualifying.
I don't know what Jelazny is doing, but he probably is going to look at the times now and pray that no one beats his time or just get out of the garage and as he's entering now, just climb out and try to do one more lap. I don't know if he can improve. It's going to be interesting as you said, Shop as the first time as a full-time driver. Amazing lap from him. A bit off the pace of Jelazny that everyone is. It's amazing to see the quality of these drivers. So
Absolutely.
close. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
It's just everything's so close. You were saying it there. Only driver that's done a lap on, I believe, has done a lap on mediums. Tazo did his lap on mediums. JJ did his lap on mediums. So it looks like they're opting for pit strategy over qualifying pace. After watching the split 2 race, I don't know that pit strategy even matters, honestly.
It's unpredictable, you can't say, because as split 2 was affected by rain, this one might not be affected. So all things can change with a snap of a finger. So can see as Martin spun in the hairpin, I think he got damage. It was Bardosh, unfortunately for him, and has no front wing, has to abort this lap and the next. I don't think he
That'll
has time to do another push lap.
that'll be
Let's
his
see.
qualifying over. Noda threw himself into P4 at the moment. It looks like Zalazna, I can't talk, and Jack are both out on outlaps at the moment. So with just a little over 2 minutes left, you have time for an outlap and a push lap, and then that's that. So Roloski out on his outlap now, minute 45. It's anyone's guess how this is going to end.
JG is also outlap. He's in P17. He can definitely improve his time, but he is stuck behind the wheels. I don't know if he's going to back off as as Alpine is starting on the other way. But I don't think the circuit goes that route. But it's going to be interesting. I just can't even predict what's going to happen.
Absolutely. I want to mention Jack here. We're on board with him now. Jack, purple in the first sector, coming through second sector into the DRS zone. I have no idea what's about to happen, but Jack, purple first sector, looking really strong coming around the corners here. Right-hander on the sausage curb and invalidates his lap on the sausage curb. So unfortunately for Jack, that is going to be all she wrote for his qualifying. We're throwing away his session at the very end. Noda and Choppa both retiring out of the session now. So it looks like at the moment Tazo up into P2. So nobody able to answer Jalashne and his amazing time of a 1:10.2.
He's proving his time. He was 1/10 up. So it's going to be interesting if he can improve his time even more.
Coming around here, and it looks like he does improve his time, a 1:10.222. So, can anyone have an answer for that? Roloski is out on track at the moment. I'm trying to see. It looks like Roloski has a PB in the first sector, but not by enough at the moment. And that is the checkered flag dropping. So, whoever's out right now, that is where they're going to be. I'm on board with Roloski, but I believe JJ is coming around on a lap as well. Currently MP17 did his lap on mediums. What can JJ improve to? JJ jumps up into P9, not enough, but just enough to get into the top 10. Roloski is going to come across, and Roloski locks himself into P4, only able to improve by 8 milliseconds.
FOXXXES retires from session, so he didn't compete in this quali. I don't know if he has some sort of issues.
Not for sure either. Looking at SENTEX here. SENTEX just driving through barrier boards. I believe he knows his qualifying is over. He can't set a good time. So at the moment, Jalajne, I can't talk today, securing himself another pole position. Tazo in P2. Mercedes just showing domination this season. It's kind of scary to watch, especially for two rookies and for a team that's been so unlucky through FRL's history. Seeing this sort of domination is really scary.
They are on another level. I think they got the spirits from like 2020 Mercedes, or they put I don't know what kind of fuel in that engine, but it's promising to see Mercedes dominate and see with the other drivers such as Jack and Rolowski to put up a fight with them.
Absolutely. I think turn one is going to be carnage. I say this every time. Turn one's going to be carnage, and I don't know who's going to do what. It looks like still a couple drivers out on track at the moment, but I'm showing checkered flags for everyone. So this is going to be your grid here. So Jalajne a 10th up on his teammate. I mean, what a great lap. What a great lap from both of those Mercedes drivers. I don't have a lot else to say other than Ferrari needs to step it up, and I think Jack is going to send it into turn one and try to get himself a good run. It's going to be interesting to see where they go.
It's not even a doubt that both Jack Rolowski and like the P2 behind are going to push hard to overtake the Mercedes, because Mercedes are unbeatable in this quali session. Let's see in the race. Probably their setup is more quali based. Don't know for sure, but if they're gonna suffer in the race or not, it's going to be very interesting. As we see the sky is sunny, so but we don't know what's going to happen in a couple of minutes of time. It's going to be interesting. The race. Let's hope the race is the race is all the best, and it's going to be interesting for us.
Absolutely. Everybody hang out for just a minute. As soon as we get on the formation lap, we'll bring you back into the stream.
Hinlock also.
All right, we're back here. Formation lap. We don't even get through the first corner, and we have two drivers disqualified from the formation lap. Looking at tire strategy, Saintex, Hinlock, Insidious, 29 Bailu on mediums. Talking about pit stop strategy. We talked about it last race. Medium to hard seems to be the way that drivers want to go. Or would it be soft medium or medium soft?
It's a good question because split to race didn't resolve any of our doubts. It's going to be interesting the guys that start on the mediums, if they're going to go full push and go medium hard, like to use all the tires, or going to go a little bit safer and go drive a little bit safer and go medium soft to have the parts tire in the end of the race. It's going to be quite interesting to see the strategy if the race isn't going to be affected in the by the rain at the end, like split two. The strategy is going to be more important, so it's going to be interesting to see. The field is going to back out a bit. The three first places are almost getting to the grid now, and as Rolowski is coming out to the final corner, It's going to give an edge to Roloski because first place is going to have colder tires at the start. I don't know if this was on purpose by Roloski or just an accident, as Insidians and Baldo are doing the same. So it's going to be interesting just to see those guys have a better launch, possibly, or probably not. It's going to
Absolutely.
be, sorry, it's going to be interesting to the first corner.
For sure. First corner chaos, I'm predicting here. We're going to ride on board with Jack through this first couple of corners because I think he is going to not let the Mercedes get away as easy as they want to. As we wait on the rest of the grid to form up, I believe last car is in place here. Now we are going to get set here for split one's run. 5 red lights, and we are going to be underway here for the Dutch Grand Prix here in FRL. And Jack gets a little bit of wheel spin there in the beginning. Jalajne and Tazo getting away very well looking through here, but Jack is going to lose out of position to Roloski. He's going to be very lucky to not lose a position there to chop it. But back in the midfield, Maddie, Noda, JJ, and it looks like SENTEX might be losing out big time there. And it looks like Frederick has a spin there in the first couple of corners, and Barthez has a spin. So going through so far, first few corners of chaos here, everything kind of settling back underway though.
It was safer than we thought, but now the time to push starts, and probably Roloski isn't going to settle for P3, and he's going to start pushing and put under pressure in Tazo and Jelazny. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. Looking here at everything, it looks like so far Jack actually losing a position going through, as it looks like technical difficulties, because FRL loves technical difficulties. Thanks for tagging me in chat. Going through here, first few corners, JJ up into P8. It's early days in this race, but I don't think early days matters really with split one.
To say Perfection starting last place is up to P14, climb up 6 positions. 7 position now, it's up to P13 now. Going to be a strong race from him. It's going to be a candidate for driver of the day. Is going to settle for the lower position, is going to climb up the field. It's going to be interesting to watch all of the overtakes.
Absolutely. Looking here, front of the field, Jack and Roloski are not letting the Mercedes run away from them as much as you would think they would, and then all of the field separated by like half a second to a second all the way back. Bartosz, Henlock, and Barthez all into the pits early though, going on to medium tires. So it looks like those drivers pitting due to damage, except for Barthez, are going to commit themselves to another pit stop. Barthez may be trying to run to the end, but I can't imagine hard tires can go 35 laps.
I think they can't. Probably going to start for softs in the later stages of this race. He's in a good position to have a good strategy and to fight for some positions, maybe some points. Isn't going to be like over the top right now, but the later stages. Estazo goes ahead of Jelazny. I don't know if it was Team Rose, but seemed a bit of a clean overtake. And Roloski also in the back of Jelazny, going around the outside, but can't do anything. But it's going to be interesting as he does another attempt with the Oresi also, going to the fast right hander. And
they make contact. Oh, such tight battling there from Roloski and Jalajne, and it looks like just a little close. It didn't look like contact on my screen, but it looks like there was contact, and that is going to bring out a yellow flag. That is going to cost both of them big time, as it looks like they're now P11, P12, so that battle is not over. Jack is going to be ecstatic to see that, though, as that puts Jack up into P1. Looks like Tazo had a spin as well, so Tazo drops back. What?
Like, one corner can change everything in this track. Amazing to see such close battles, but unfortunately, it ended up in a bad way.
Absolutely.
Jack and Notice they start battling each other there. Nota with DRS closing in and Chopa right behind Nota. It's going to be an interesting battle for the top 3.
For sure. We'll see if the top three will do what Split 2 did and try to build a little bit of a gap here. The top three ran away on the rest of the field in Split 2, so they may do the same thing in Split 1. As Jalajne is into the pits for a fresh set of medium tires, it looks like Roloski and Tazo got lucky there, and they're going to continue going on their race. Jack has 3/10 of a gap on Noda. We'll see if he can build that gap coming through in any way as he needs to try to avoid getting past under DRS here coming through the back straight.
Amazing driving from these guys. They have a bit of a gap to Matty, like 1.1 seconds, but all of that can change along one corner as Roloski and Zelazny showed perfectly. It's going to be a good battle. As Perfection is up to P10, P11 now, but going to be a good race. Thrilling first few laps. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. 4 laps in here, and action is everywhere that we can see. But it looks like the big battle right now is going to be Jack and Noda. Jack is going to give up the position as Noda has DRS, and there's no way to fight it. So that means Jack down into P2, but staying right behind Noda's. It looks like we have a yellow flag in Sector 1. It looks like that is going to be Debe that has dropped back. I'm not sure what happened to him there, but it looks like that is going to be costing him big time. Perhaps just a spin coming out of the first corner. I'm not sure if there was contact there, but that drops him back into P16. Looking here at the action, Noda has a 3.5 to around 4.5 gap. Now a half-second gap on Jack, and Choppa is right there. 3.5, 4/10 back on Jack. So the top three with a 1.5-second gap on 4th place, and then the gap builds from there. And then going back, Roloski only a 10th off of Bax at the moment. So top three are the main fight, but Roloski is trying to bring it back up through the field as he gets up into P7 now.
As they are close together, top three, it's going to be interesting if it's one stands on one down the inside and the desert. Jack is close to Nota, but doesn't try anything. Plays smart. Maybe tries around the outside in this corner, but it's too far away.
For sure. Jack, someone who we know has strong race pace and does great with planning his overtakes and his passes. We saw it time and time and time again last season. So it's going to be interesting to see how long Jack sits behind Noda before he finds an opportunity for an overtake and takes it.
He's really close again. The dirty air in the second sector is really hard to keep up. But in the first sector, Jack is flying. He closed up, but now in the second sector, he pulled back a bit. It's going to be interesting, like three tenths now. It's going to be interesting first corner.
Jack is doing well going through gap 0.3 of a second. Coming around, final couple of corners, so he'll have DRS on this occasion. We'll jump on board and see if he can take advantage of it. 2.5 tenths, down to 2 tenths, down to 1.5 down to 1/10. They're side by side, and Jack barely gets the pass done before going into turn 1, but Noda is right behind him, so Jack needs to open up his pace, show that race pace we know he has, and get a bit of a gap going. Otherwise, he's going to continue to be pushed lap after lap after lap, which isn't going to bode well for those soft tires.
Not isn't going to give up, but he has to pay attention to Choppa behind with a strong pace. It's going to be interesting because P4 is already 2 seconds behind Choppa. It's going to be a battle for the 3 top places if nothing over the top happens. It's going to be between these 3 drivers. What amazing drivers. And as I said a million times, it's going to be interesting.
FRL always brings interesting races. It's just one of those things that for some reason this league likes to do. Make things fun, make things interesting. Jack has a half-second gap here on Noda, but Noda's getting a good run through the third sector here. Trying to close the gap a little bit. Gap still holding at around 4.5 tenths up to around 4 tenths now. Noda does have DRS here on this occasion. Noda's going to dive it. Jack tries to go defensive. Noda has the inside line, but Jack gets a little bit better of a run around the outside. So it looks like in this occasion, Jack is going to hold on to it there. But Noda making his presence known. This battle here for the front is great, but I don't want to forget to mention Jalajne back in P17, who set a fastest lap on a fresh set of mediums. Tazo back into the pits now, going on to another set of softs. It looks like he probably had a spin and got some damage. And then Rolowski down in P7, but still gaining, and JJ in P5 and gaining. So don't count those drivers out, as we know they're strong, and they're going to be building up, catching these top three eventually, and then things will definitely be heating up.
Chopper is 2 tenths behind Noto. Maybe we can see a lunge up to the chicane of turn 3. As we see a yellow flag, I think it's Prefixian who spun or crashed. I think this is developed to be an amazing race between these two drivers, and JJ and Rolowski climbing up to the field. As JJ is already into P5, catching Matty, and Rolowski catching John Meister. He's in the verge of DRS. It's going to be, as Nota goes up the inside of Jack. Jack couldn't do anything, and Nota is up to P1. Amazing overtake from him.
For sure, but as we've seen already, it's going to be a few laps, and then this may invert again if Noda can't open up and build enough of a gap on Jack, or if Jack makes any sort of little mistake, then that's going to be over. As SENTEX gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, John Meister on a set of inners. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm very confused why he's on intermediate tires.
I think he's still thinking of split 2. Yeah, he is on intermediate. It isn't a bug. I think it was a mistake from his part, or the game bugged on him. Unfortunately, has to stick with those tires for one lap. It's going to be slow, but let's see if he can still climb throughout the field. Unfortunately, he was in a good position, just in front of Orlowski. Let's see if he can climb up the field again.
Interesting strategy from John Meister. Wet tires on a dry track. I wonder if he's going to try some off-roading with that tire tread. I'm guessing he was trying to set hard tires and just clicked over one too far and didn't catch it. Would be my assumption.
Yes, Jack goes around the outside and makes the move, take onto T1. Amazing overtake from Jack. Amazing driving from these guys. And Chopper just sat there and with the best seat in the house, is watching these two very good drivers battling it out.
Oh, the battle's not over yet, though, as Jack and Noda are still side by side coming around. It looks like Jack is going to hold on to it, but Noda only a 10th off. Noda's going to peek here on the inside. Choppa has a great view of this, and Noda's most definitely going to push this again coming around the next lap. Rolowski and JJ have inverted back in P5 as well, I want to mention, while we're coming through. So it's anyone's game still at this point. Lap 10 of 36, 26 laps to go.
I think Chopper is going to play it safe and just back out a bit, save a bit tires when they start to go, when the tires of the two front drivers going to start to fall off the cliff. It's going to start pushing and try to see if he can climb up to positions, because he's driving an amazing race, keeping up with those guys. In his first race as a full-time driver, I'd like to see it again. Just being patient, maybe his patience is going to pay off.
Patience can be key here in FRL. Coming around lap 11, Jack holds on to the lead for another lap. Choppa probably, you mentioned he's laying back. I wonder if he's just waiting to see if these two drivers battling in front of him make any contact and just spin themselves out and just give him a free 2 places at that point, because this is a tight battle and it's getting really close. But Jack, we know he knows how to battle and defend. Noda, we know he knows how to attack and defend. Chop is probably just playing it safe and waiting on one of those two to spin, which I don't blame him a bit. Looking through the field here, Rolowski is slowly chopping away, building his way up towards Maddie. It's all still to play for. 29 Bailu, less than a second back on True Hero. So we're going in here halfway through lap 11, and it's proving to be a great race. I don't have a lot to say at the moment, just watching these drivers battle.
Meister was having an amazing race, but that error on the pit stop put him last place. As Jack and as Jack and Nota did a fake entry to pit lane. Jack and Chopper are in the pits. Nota stayed out. Let's see if he's going to pay off the overcut.
Noda pushing here. Going through. We'll see what tires. Jack goes on to a set of hards. And what position is Jack going to come out? Jack comes out. Is he in front of Insidious? He is. He is in front of Insidious, but Choppa is going to be behind Insidious. So Jack getting very lucky coming out of the pits there in order to get ahead. That is going to put him P8, which puts him in a very strong position for holding on to the lead once these pit stops cycle through.
Jack is 18 seconds off Nota. Maybe it's not a. If not a pit, maybe he can claim that lead again. Jack is gaining 17.9 now. I think the undercut is paid off.
Sure, undercut can be very strong as it looks like the Haas of FOXXXES has spun there in the first sector. He's back underway though, no issues. And there is Noda diving into the pits. We'll see what tires he decides to go on. Is Matty pits right behind him in the Red Bull. It looks like his pit crew has a fresh set of hard compound tires ready.
And Rogowski and JJ up to P1 and P2 because of the pit stops. Probably think I'm going to stay there for a long time because they have to pit themselves. Balu in the medium tires in P4 is in a good position as Not and Jack come side by side and Jack goes up ahead.
So the attempting to go for the long route did not prove well for Noda's. Jack is now up into P6, which puts himself basically in the lead once these pit stops cycle. Orlowski and JJ and Bax on 12-lap old soft tires along with True Hero. 29 Bailu on 12-lap old mediums, though. 29 Bailu probably going to run longer here, but I don't know in terms of strategy if that's the best strategy for him to run. Of course, we know mediums last longer than softs. So these soft tire guys are going to be looking back here at the battle between Jack and Noda and probably going to be pulling the trigger on pit stops soon. Orlowski into the pits now. What tires is he going on to?
I think he's on mediums, yeah, mediums.
Yep. And we can see Noda and Jack still battling it out here. And Choppa's going to try to dive up the inside of Jack as well. It looks like there may have been a little bit there. Choppa not able to take advantage. Choppa on medium tires. Possibly going to try for a two-stop or to go to the end. Noda getting around Jack here. And that puts them up into P3 and 4. But JJ and 29 Bailu yet to make a pit stop. Ferrari opting to not double stack here, which is a great decision from them. But may cost JJ a position or so.
They're closing in very fast to see that the hard tires have the pace. The medium to softs probably are going to die off soon, if they died off already. And for now, the better the race tire is the hards. And it's going to be interesting to see Chop if he can with the better tires mediums to take advantage of this battle between Ott and Jack and try to pick up a few places that they battle it out. It's going to, as I said a million times, and I'll say it again, it's going to be very interesting.
Interesting is going to be the theme of this race, it sounds like. Looking through here, JJ now into the pits on his 14-lap old softs. As we see lots of moves happening here. Choppa trying to follow Jack around the outside here. And Jack gets back past Noda, but they're still side-by-side drag racing here through the first few quarters. And Noda holds onto his position for now. Choppa tried to dive around the inside here of Jack, and Choppa now side by side on Jack, but decides to step back in behind him. Noda not safe at all in his first place, second place, which is about to become first place whenever 29 Bailu pits.
I don't have the words to describe these three drivers. The racing they are doing, I'm speechless. It's very, very clean, very fast. They are putting the competition behind with Insidious in P5, who hasn't stopped yet, important to say. And they are going to run off with this race and probably If they are not going to crash to each other, we have a top 3 defined already.
For sure. We talked about drivers needing to show pace. Noda was one of those drivers, and it looks like Noda has decided he was going to heed my call and show me some of his pace here. As we see, Choppa is going to dive up the inside here. Jack going up the inside. Choppa pushing Jack a little bit, it looks like. So Jack backing out there from Noda. I think there was contact between Jack and Choppa, but couldn't tell from the camera angle.
I think there was a big hit between Jack and Norton. I don't know if Jack has damage. He's going to see if he's back up a bit. That was a pretty big hit between front wing of Jack and the tire of Nota.
Drivers not giving anything up here. Pushing through, looking at gaps to leaders. Yellow flag sector 2, that is for the Alfa Romeo of Insidious. But it looks like he's back underway. Drivers getting very lucky spinning on this track, just as they did in Split 2.
Chopper couldn't keep up and overtake Jack and Nota with new medium tires. They are going to start to die off faster than the hards. So if Chopper wants to overtake those guys, it has to be soon.
Absolutely. Choppa only has a few laps left on his tires. As we see Jack trying to get around Noda, and he does it again on this occasion with the help of DRS. And Choppa is trying to have a peek here at Noda. Not close enough, though, in the moment is Choppa, but he's trying to chop away at that gap that Jack and Noda have. I've been holding that one in for the past 2 races. I'm glad I finally got to use it.
Perfect. Amazing. And safety car. It's perfect and DNFs. Safety car.
Oh, Pafixian, first round back here in FRL, and that's a DNF, and it looks like...
Crashes. Oh, not Reynolds and debris. I don't know if... I don't think, yeah, no problem. We have to be careful to not to get a puncher running over debris. It's very insensitive. Sometimes doesn't matter. So we have to... Yeah, it doesn't have a puncher, it seems like it.
That's good. I just noticed 29 Bailu on 16 lap on mediums hadn't stopped yet. This safety car might give him a free pit stop, which could put him to still be in P1 and be in contention for the win here. We'll see if he can get around the track fast enough and if he has enough of a space here. He should come out behind Rolowski if this pit stop goes well from his team.
Jack and Chopper pits.
So Jack did get damaged. It looks like Choppa did as well there. As we see here, 29 Bailu pits in on a fresh set of hards. And it looks like that'll promote Rolowski into P2. JJ into P4. We'll see if they lose any more positions here. Choppa onto a fresh set of mediums. Jack onto a fresh set of mediums. 29 Bailu on hards. So 29 Bailu is going to come out P5. Jack into P6. Choppa into P7. So... mid-race safety car mixing up pit strategy. Again, 29 Bailu getting real lucky there that he hadn't pit, and I'm sure he was looking to pit here in the next couple of laps.
Really lucky from him. It benefits him a lot. I don't know if Jack and Chop are counting on another safety car because I don't think the mediums can do 18 more laps on medium. So I don't know if they are counting on doing another stop or just hoping for another safety car. Let's see how the strategy unfolds. It's going to be interesting, as I say again.
Interesting, the theme of FRL at the moment. Looking here, lap 18 of 36. If you're just joining us, it's been a strong battle between Jack, Choppa, and Noda, but it looks like at the moment Noda is going to have himself in first place. He's got Rolowski, Maddie, and JJ behind him, though. And I don't know about you, but I do not want Rolowski to be behind me if I am Noda.
Like the fear then when you see Rolowski on the rear view mirror, it's what not is going to be feeling now. Orlowski is not the guy you want to be behind, be in front, because you are sure he's going to try to overtake you, and when he does overtake you, you have no chance to defend because he's such an aggressive overtaker, but a clean overtaker. It's going to be amazing if Orlowski can overtake Nota. or if not, can defend from Orlowski. They are both great drivers, not a great at defending, Orlowski great at overtaking. Going to be fun to watch the battle that unfold here. As I want to say again, Balu had the perfect luck and the perfect timing for the safety car to be out. Just a free pit stop from him, and he is on new hard tires. It's going to be interesting to see where he finishes on those old hards.
29 Bailu should be able to make it to the end on hard tires. Do you think mediums are going to make it to the end at this point? Lap 19 of 36. Do we think the medium tires are going to run it to the end of the race?
In luck, he's driving on 16 old tires, 16 lap old tires. Let's ask him first, and I answer the question. Because honestly, I don't know. These guys are pushing like uh, like I've never seen before. So battling every lap, one after the other. So we don't know the tires can last the whole race or can last 10 laps. We don't. I'm not sure. As the safety car comes in this lap, not does the restart. Don't know if he's going to be aggressive, trying to back up the field, or just going to be safe, not to get any penalties for Koloski behind.
He's going to have to catch Orlowski off guard if he wants to have a chance of keeping his P1 here as he comes around. It sounds like he's going now as they hit the line. So we're back underway here, going into lap 20 of 36. 16 laps to go here. And Noda having a good run. It looks like JJ having a peek up the inside on Maddie. Is JJ able to hold on to that, though? It doesn't look like it, as Jack and 29 Bailu are battling right behind them, as JJ gets around Rolowski there with Maddie now under threat from Jack, who's got around 29 Bailu. Jack has a look there to the left on Maddie. He thought about it. He tags back in, and we have a yellow flag sector 1. It looks like that is going to be True Hero who is spun.
As Jack is just going to be driving like crazy to get those positions that he lost in the safety car in the pit stop, and we can count on him to put some beautiful overtakes and chop as well behind close, following Jack, and it's going to be fun to watch these battles until the end. As Not is going to try to run from the rest of the grid, as he's on didn't pit, and he's put a bit of a gap to Rolowski, who is with DRS. As Matty, I don't know if he has damage or lets Jack through, but Chop is still side by side with Matty.
Great battles coming through here. Lap 21 to 36. Noda needs to build a 2-second gap off to Rolowski. At the moment, that gap is only 3/10. No DRS for the next lap here, but he's got both Ferraris behind him. Rolowski P2, JJ P3. He needs to hope that Jack gets up here and mixes some things up, as it seemed like he had superior pace to Jack or similar pace to Jack. He needs to hope that they can get away from the Ferraris as fast as possible here. Gap now up to 5.5 tenths, almost 6 tenths as we come around into Sector 2. I think Noda is going to be sweating bullets right now coming around here on this lap before DRS comes up.
Just pushing like crazy, like focusing to hit every apex, every turn to maximize the gap. But Orlowski still sticks with him, like 4 tenths behind only with mediums. Orlowski should be faster, but Not is maintaining the gap. Let's see who, if the Orlowski tries to do something in Amplitude 1. No DRS. Only next lap is going to have DRS. So, as SENTEX goes into the pits, maybe has damage. Amazing from these guys to maintain those gaps in the slash hard track to follow. As Jack is already the gearbox of JJ, and but doesn't has DRS. Oh, he has. Sorry, it's going to be very interesting to see if he tries to do something up to T1. He's only 4 tenths behind, but he has to make sure Chopper is still very close behind him. Very close battle between these two, as they showed last season. Also, a fight for the championship. Amazing from these two. I don't know how they didn't crash up to climbing up the hill. Let's see if Jack is going to catch JJ and Nota to end this race on a high. Amazing. JJ is really close to Nota, only 3 tenths, but Jack is sniffing everything to so he can try to overtake maybe in the uh, try to dive down the chicane here, or maybe wait for the fourth on one. It's going to again the really hard track to overtake, and just see to let's hope to see in T1 if we have some action. Another safety car. Again, the safety car is going to change the whole the whole race again. Don't know if they're going to pit for softs and just push like crazy, or they're gonna stick with these tires and tiptoe to the end of the race. It's going to be interesting what the drivers choose to do, but we can make sure it's going to have an interesting race till the end. And I hope you guys are enjoying as much as we are. To be honest with you, I don't really know because 10 laps to the end. Jack has 7 lap tires, 7 lap. Yeah, JJ has 10 laps. I don't know if the JJ side is going to hold up. Hold up. Jack has some cooldown laps, so the tires can breathe a bit. And when it's time to push, I think Jack is going to push. I don't know if JJ's tire is going to last that long. I don't know if it's able to do 20 laps on mediums. I think it's possible to do 17 laps on softs on mediums. I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be close, but it's going to be very hard Fornota, who pitted and is in 12th place, to climb up those places in this and the track. It's so difficult to overtake, very hard. So it's going to be very hard for Nota if he wants to do a good race. But the theme of this race is unpredictable and interesting.
I think safety car comes in this lap here, and I don't think that Noda's going to have the pace to make up the positions he just lost going on to soft tires, but it is possible that he just thought the tires were dead. JJ is going to take control of the field here. Ferrari 1-3 trying to come back to glory. JJ has control as they come into the final corner, but Jack is right behind him and does not want to let him go at all. We'll jump on board here with Jack as Jack is trying to watch and predict when JJ is going to go. JJ speeds up a little bit more. JJ still not going. Look at the weaving, and there goes JJ finally underway here. Lap 26 of 36.
Rulowski?
Rulowski on the outside here thinks about having a pass. However, Rulowski, was there contact between them?
The rhythm, I think Jack hit the wall.
Oh, Jack, that is going to cost Jack everything as Jack now drops into P17. And that is going to give JJ and Rulowski and Ferrari a 1-2 to try to run away with as JJ now has a 1.5 second gap on his teammate. Rulowski under pressure by Matty, 3/10 back here as the field is very bunched up. So it's going to be interesting. Jalajne back in P4 now. So Jalajne, a fast driver, he's going to be one that we need to watch here in the dying stages of this Dutch GP.
With the newer tires as well, I think Jalajne is going to able to fight for podiums or maybe even P2. I think he is going to be one of the top drivers to look out for in the later stage of this race. It's 9 laps to the end. All of it can play for. As JJ is running away from Rulowski. I don't think Rulowski is backing out, so Matty is trying to overtake him. Oh, Rulowski's left.
Looks like there's a bit of a connection error there as Rulowski loses control of his car there. AI takes over, and he is going to lose multiple positions there. So Jalajne back into P3. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1. It looks like that is going to be John Meister who is spun there. And Rulowski having a game restart should be in shortly, but that one moment of a game desync is going to cost him big time in positions. He's going to have to fight to get back up. F1 2021, best game ever.
No glitches, no bugs.
Absolutely, it was made perfect from the beginning. You can't tell me otherwise. Matty, 2.5 second gap here on JJ. Jalajne at 4/10 of a second, now 5/10, trying to get the gap. Rulowski dropping all the way to P9 from that disconnect. See here as they come around the final corner. Can Jalajne make a pass here? He has a half-second gap, and I don't know, DRS enabled. He's falling back, so he does not have the superior straight line speed compared to the Red Bull. He's probably going for a higher downforce setup, which is why he seems so interesting through the curves and able to close up and try to keep such pace. Choppa behind him, though, by 4/10. It's all to play for at the moment. Yellow flag sector 3. It looks like that is going to be for a slow Alfa Romeo.
I think he just spun or crashed, but he doesn't seem to have damage.
Going around here, it's 7 laps to go, and it's still all to play for at the moment. One little slip up can cost you from first place to last place, as Jack found out. Jack, who is in contention for the win, now a P. VSC deployed. What is that VSC from? Is it from True Hero or Insidious in the back spinning?
Yeah, I think he's True Hero is top on track. I don't know why. I think he has some problem, but he isn't moving.
See,
Yeah,
and it looks
moving again.
VSC is upgraded to a safety car with 7 laps to go here. So that'll be our third safety car, and it looks like JJ straight into the pits at the moment. Nobody else following him though, so Maddie will open up into P1, Jalajna will open into P2, Choppa in P3, Deva in P4, but Deva has a penalty to serve, so we'll see what that 5-second penalty will cost him at the end of this race. 6 laps to go, and we're back on safety car number 3.
And through here, not having the best race. Last place in state, last place. Unfortunately, has a really good driver. But his teammate Debe, don't know where he came from, but P4 now and promising. As not is P5, but he's going to take advantage of this third safety car, I'm sorry. But Arnott is going to push hard and try to overtake everyone. He hopes to claim some points as he is on precious softs as the everyone else is on old mediums. It's going to be interesting again. The interesting to see Nota climbing up those places.
I'll tell you who's
Jack.
really happy about this safety car right now. Jack, back in P12 now. He's going to be really happy the safety car came out because he might be able to make some big lunges and try to work himself back up the field. He may not be able to get himself back in the podium places, but he'll at least earn more points and be able to get moving forward. Safety cars mix everything up in FRL. If you're new to FRL, this is what we do. We get late race safety cars that throw everything out the window, and then we just see what happens from there.
Such interesting races in this weekend. Split 2 was very interesting race with the weather playing a big hand at the end of the race. And Matty overtaking the safety car. I don't know. Okay, gave the position back. But safety cars are a big thing. Change the whole race, change the whole pace. And see, everyone except Nota, Frederick, Hinlock, JJ, Baldo, Trujillo, Insidious are all on old mediums. So it's going to be interesting to see those drivers to climb up the field, as everyone is on old mediums who are past their best. Let's see where they finish.
Matty behind the safety car here. He's trying to get the safety car to go faster, and unfortunately the safety car won't. I'm guessing those old mediums do not have enough heat built up in them here at the moment for this restart. Safety car will be in this lap, so Jalajna is going to be a big problem there for Matty, as Jalajna has 5-lap younger tires than what Matty does, so he'll have a good pace advantage here. And Choppa has the same age as Jalajna, so if turn 1 doesn't go well for Matty, it could drop him multiple places down the order. But I'm really curious to see where Noda brings it around, because Noda on 4-lap old softs could prove a strong contention to still be on the podium here.
There's 5 laps left. Safety car is in.
And Matty's still not going yet, and now he's going to go here. And it looks like Jalajna is going to be under a lot of pressure here by Chopper and Deva, as we see 3 wide back in the background here coming into turn 1. Absolute carnage, and who is that spinning? That is going to be Jack, I believe, that just spun. No, that is Jack's teammate John Meister, who gets really loose coming through there. And through
SENTEX also.
Multiple cars going around there. Very unlucky into turn 1. The drivers tried to toss it 3 wide into turn 1. It didn't work out. But for Matty, it worked perfectly, because Matty has almost a second gap already on Jalajna, who has a half second on David, who was able to get around Choppa there in the process. Noda in P5. Jack in P6. Roloski gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Ferrari not having a good day anymore.
The middle of the race, it looks like. And there's a Alpine. Yeah, John Meister retired. I don't think there's going to be another safety car. But Ferrari in the middle of the race looked like strong. They are going to have a strong weekend, 1-2, for a couple of laps. But now with the second car restart, they are in P9, in P14. Let's see what they can do.
Absolutely. Zhelazny coming through. I keep saying absolutely, but you're right, nail on the head with everything. Looking back, Noda trying to have a peek there on Choppa, but not able to convert. Maddie and Zhelazny battling it out here. Half second the gap, 4/10 the gap. Debe trying to gain 8/10 of a second there. Choppa got 6/10 of a second. And Jack on his 14 lap on mediums. NP6 currently looking to chase down Choppa and Debe trying to push and get pace, but it looks like the old tires versus the new tires are really showing themselves. JJ up into P9 now on his 2 lap old softs, so he may prove in contention for a top 5 finish still.
Let's see. Jack has a strong pace, but not as well with the soft tires. He can't do much because the front running guys are too fast, it seems. But let's see where they can finish. Frederick also in the back of Jack, very close.
Going around, no DRS for 2 laps after safety car, so they won't have DRS here. They'll have DRS starting at the next DRS zone. Zhelazny half
very
a second.
close. Oh, sorry, but not very close to Chopper, but couldn't do anything. Let's see if he can do next lap with DRS.
The gap's so close here with 2 laps to go that it's still anyone, or 3 laps to go, that it's still anyone's game here at the moment. Drivers still chasing each other down because they understand everything's to play for here. Be interesting to see if drivers can hold it together. JJ right on the rear wing of Bax. Thought he was going for a gutsy pass there, decided not to as he comes around. The number 2 holding on to it. Looking really strong. Now we're coming into the DRS zone here. Will Zhelazny have enough pace on Maddie? Gap is half a second, so he's a little too far back. But Choppa, 3/10 on Debe, might have a little bit not close enough on this occasion. You can see the front of the field is very bunched up. So one pass could make all the difference for them.
It takes just one error to lose 2 or 3 positions in these circumstances. So let's see, as Chopper tries to go around the outside of, oh no, too far away. No, it goes the switchback. No, can't do it. They are trying everything to overtake the cars in front, but it is proving to be more difficult than they thought.
The 80 gamer still loves Haas here as he's trying to root on Choppa and give him a little bit of strategy here from the booth. Going through here, Zhelazny, P2, 3/10 the gap on Maddie with 2 laps to go, a lap and a half here to go, actually. Trying his hardest to get around, not able to, though, at this moment. He'll have 1 more lap, 3 DRS zones to try to get a pass done. And we'll see what happens. I still think Noda and Jack are a threat, and Choppa is still a threat on Debe there. DRS open, Zhelazny gap, 1/10.
Not was on the inside. He couldn't make it. Almost touched. I think Jack touched the back of Nota. I don't think he has damage.
Oh, it's such tight battling here for the top 6 places. And even then, you can say all the way back into P9, P10. It's all so close here. Noda's going to have a run here on Choppa. Choppa's diving defensive up the inside, and you can see up front, Zhelazny gets past Maddie. And meanwhile, we're looking here at Noda, who still has a run on Choppa. Coming around here, the first corner, is Noda able to drag off the first straight? He's trying, he's pushing, and he does not have the moment. But Zhelazny getting past Maddie on the final lap in the final zone. So Maddie needs to push here and make something happen with just a few corners left to go. Another half a lap, a third of a lap to go. Debe coming around here. Debe is trying to hold on to P3. It's still anyone's guess who's going to get way here, but Zhelazny getting the pass done down the main straightaway as they come around onto the backstretch. Zhelazny stretching out to a 7/10 of his second lead, so Zhelazny making a pass when it counts.
Very smart play from Zhelazny. He overtook in the last lap when Matty had no opportunity to pass again. Very smart thing from Zhelazny, and that pass made him hopefully win the race. Not to commentators' cars, but very, very smart thing from Zhelazny, and very good play from him.
Zhelazny, 2 second places, first place last race, and he is going to have another first place. Oh, Debe spins in the background, though. That is going to be detrimental.
Haas on
Oh,
the podium.
Matty P2 Choppa in the Haas. First race with FRL as a main driver. He won Split 2 last week. He's going to be on the podium here in Split 1. Debe making a last corner mistake. It looks like hitting the curb, and that cost him so many places. Debe finishing P12 then. Jack up into P5, no to P4. But Jalajne going to be your winner here of the Dutch Grand Prix. Amazing what just happened there. And JJ, 22nd time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Not sure what that was about. I believe that's a glitch on his end. I think he spun somewhere in that final lap, though, unfortunately. But Mercedes domination has finally made its way to FRL and is continuing. Jalajna putting the Mercedes team on his back. Second, first, and let's add another first place to the record books for him. Bax driver of the day with a very, very strong drive for him. What a race. Debe losing it in the final corner. I don't think you commentator cursed the right person there, AD Gamer.
Yeah, it seems to. I spoke to you last day, Debbie heard it. So amazing. And for the Debbie is kind of a heartbreak. All Polish podium as it's kind of getting used to it in FRL. Amazing end to the amazing race. The leaders changed when we thought someone were going to win the race. Others won. Amazing.
Absolutely.
And
FRL loves to throw things on our head here. That was chaos. The last 10 laps were chaos. I'll
pure
call it
chaos.
now. I
And
think
Zelazny with after the crash with Jack, climbed up to P1. Amazing from him. One of the best drives today's race. Amazing.
I feel like the stewards are going to have a late night. I don't know about you, but I feel like they're about to have a fun time, and I want no part of
I'm going to sleep early. I
it.
don't care what the stewards are going to say. If they need my opinion, I'll be there tomorrow.
We'll see what the announcements come out tomorrow. We'll see what the stewards decide because between Split 2 and Split 1, I think they're going to take a little bit of work here. But your podium, Jalajna, Matty, Noda, Jack P4, Bax P5, Henlock P6, True Hero, 29 Bailu, Frederick, Deve, Rolowski, Barthez, Choppa, Insidious going down the rest of the grid here. SENTEX, JJ, Bartosh, John Meister with a DNF, Tazo, and Pafixian DNFing. Pafixian, of course, his debut back to FRL this season, and DNFing is not the way he wanted to start. But congratulations to Jalajne on another podium on a two-stop strategy. Matty doing really well. Noda, Bax going from P19 to P5. We can't forget to mention him there. And 29 Bailu, P18 to P8. I have no words.
I'd like to mention that True Heroes finished P7 and did 4 stops. I don't know what strategy was he on, but it seems to work out for him. He started P15, also good race from him. But amazing from everyone. Clean-ish racing. Let's next week to be even more exciting.
What a what a week 4. I love this. I love when races go like this. It's so good all the way through, and then the last 10 laps get pure carnage. I am curious to see what the drivers say through here and what exactly happens. It was
Going to keep my open on general and in reports. It's going to be an interesting late night for the stewards.
absolutely. I can already see Discord's trying to blow up, so we'll kind of see what happens from there. But that is going to round our week 4 here of FRL in the Dutch GP. Where do we run next week? You know what week 5 is?
I'm going to see race calendar. We're going to race at Canada,
Canada.
Montreal.
My neighboring country. I can't wait to see the Canadian GP. Wall of Champions is going to be the Wall of Crashes. I'll call it now. But congratulations to all the drivers here in FRL. Split 2, Split 1. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Thank you, SENTEX, for commentating Split 2 with us. AD Gamer, thanks for sticking around and commentating everything with us. I do appreciate it. And welcome to commentary. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you stick around for more.
I loved it. You can count on me next week.
Awesome.
I'm going to be here.
Awesome. So we'll see everybody next week, same time. Race kicks off at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. Central European Time. If you're not in those two time zones, just do a little bit of math, figure out your time. Split 1 always kicks off right after Split 2. We have one qualifying session, 50% race. If you're interested in jumping in, we do have positions open in Split 2. We have positions for reserve drivers. Check out the Discord link. It's been posted in the chat, or you can check it out in the description. Check out our YouTube, where we always re-upload everything. Check out our Twitter, our Facebook page, everything, all of our socials. Get to know us. Come in. We want you as part of FRL. But that is going to round out this Sunday of racing. We'll see you back next Sunday. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers.